Okay, welcome everyone. On behalf of Futury and the initiators of the mission, the Deutsche Bank, Green Cycle, Handelsblatt and Bain & Company, I welcome you to our final pitch of our second mission, Banking Be Green. My name is Vanessa Kempf, and as the responsible program director for the mission, I will guide you through the day today. It's a real pleasure to see so many people remotely and online during our mission. And also some of you have managed to come over here to the Tech Quartier in Frankfurt, which is great to see. In normal times, we would have conducted our final pitch in the towers of the Deutsche Bank. But unfortunately, as you know, due to the facts, this is not possible. That's why we decided to do a hybrid event here today at the Tech Quartier in Frankfurt and also with you online remote. This is also asked for you. As you can imagine, there is some some challenges running event like this remote and physically. However, we would like to ask for your understanding and patience if this is not connecting sometimes so well, so quickly, or it takes some time until we have everything in place. So a little bit patience from your side would be appreciated. Before I run you through the program of today and what we have up, I would like to give the opportunity to Manfred Knof, head of the private bank of Deutsche Bank, to share his perspective on sustainable banking and also on the program itself. So we will kind of zoom in now, Manfred, and I hope this works now.
We can hear you. You can start.
Okay, good. Okay, then. Thanks a lot. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, everybody. Glad to be with you and a warm welcome from my side, today's final of the Mission 2. I'm extremely happy to have the opportunity to speak to all of you today. I mean, I still remember the time just before the Corona crisis when we just met all together and we enjoyed a very fruitful discussion, and I had a lot of fun in our personal exchange on the program. It is a real pleasure to also welcome all the partners involved in the mission. And I want to express my gratitude, respect, and my thanks to all of you. Now, I would like also to thank the entire Futury team, Vanessa, Janis, Charlie, Henning, and the entire team to make this possible, even in these times. And also to thank Holger, who is really the mastermind of Futury and the founder who made this possible, and he's also a very close friend. And thank you very much to the entire Futury team, to the team and Holger. This is a very particular and really special moment, and I'm really pleased to be with you. During Corona, we all had to adapt and find new ways of living and working. And I think it's really impressive how this all works, regardless of the difficult circumstances dealt with the situation of remote working. You all showed a very strong determination and professionalism and made the best of the situation. And therefore, we will later able to see and evaluate your initiatives and the results of your 3 months work. But let me share you a little bit my thoughts and tell you what happened and how we at Deutsche Bank survived during those times. We currently are living in an unprecedented, extraordinary time, with challenges for all of us, for individuals, corporations, and yes, also even for banks. And I appreciate my role to be in charge of the retail bank here in Germany. And it is impressive to see how professionally the bank has managed this crisis. I mean, since I'm a little bit older and I belong to the gray hair generation, I have already seen 2 major economic and financial crises during my career, so this is my 3rd one, so I know what I'm talking about. But I can tell you that the Deutsche Bank has already been crisis tested and was able to benefit from its experience from the past. We should not downplay this current situation, and this crisis is certainly one of the greatest challenges for the world since the Second World War. And we, as a bank and the management team, we have the highest respect, and we are grateful for the efforts of the federal government and the state governments of what they're trying to do to support the citizens and the economy. The same applies also, and we are gratitude for the measures taken by the central banks. Deutsche Bank itself has responded very well to the challenges, and its crisis management works excellent. Unlike during the financial crisis, the bank now has the opportunity to be part of the solution rather than being the problem. And Deutsche Bank, as such a systematically important and global institution, we are now of paramount importance for the stability of the economy and the overall functioning of society. But I think what is clear today is the crisis will leave its mark on the entire financial sector. And it will also have a lasting impact on our customer behavior. It will change a lot, but it will be crucial for us that we remain in the discussion with our clients during the crisis and in fact increase the exchange with our clients. And this we see is particularly important at this moment. But that brings me back to the mission. Before this team starts their financial pitch, their final pitches here, let me briefly say a few words to why we committed as Deutsche Bank ourselves to this initiative. First and foremost, we want to be able to offer solutions to our customer that are situated in the center of people's lives, that aim them with everyday issues and major topics regarding their future, while at the same time becoming more and more sustainable. And this becomes even more important during the crisis. The mission perfectly combines these two aspects. The issue of sustainability is enormously important. It has been very important to me personally for many years, but also for our whole society. It is therefore also increasingly important for us strategically as a bank, and we will make that clear in the bank's annual general meeting in a couple of days. We have therefore defined sustainability as an important lever for achieving our corporate goals and our social responsibility. And our sustainability approach focuses on 4 dimensions. We as a bank want to act sustainability in our own company and improve our climate balance, to establish environmental and social guidelines for our business, to support our clients in this transformation process towards a more sustainable economy with what we understand by sustainable finance. And finally, also to actively contribute our experience and knowledge to the political and social debate in order to advance the issue of sustainability in the sense of thought leadership. I see the successful implementation of green banking in our business as both a challenge and an opportunity. We must and we want to live up to our responsibility as part of society and to increasingly relevance of sustainability and responsible action for our customers and the whole society. Therefore, we believe it's super important and to promote the change towards sustainable and climate-friendly economic growth and to support this transformation process among our clients in this direction. Secondly, I'm convinced that the interdisciplinary and collaborative work, especially with you, with young talents and students, is the only way we can meet the challenges we face. And I want to be absolutely clear on this. These are hard challenges, but we can only master them together. This way, I think, fits quite well with what we have all seen in the press and the discussion, what we understand under new ways of working. New work is the key term for new cooperation and collaboration models you and the future team has already shown before the crisis. Gathering around without old hierarchies, across companies, departments, and functions is the new norm of the day. A lot has changed, and we should take this opportunity going forward. Only this way can we succeed in mobilizing the best talents and the best ideas to solve common challenges. Therefore, it's our common goal we share and where we are challenged together. But I think that should be enough of my part now here. Now it's a time for the teams to take the stage and present with their ideas, and I can't wait to see how you're doing. I will be here with you for the next hour, and unfortunately then I have to jump to the next meeting. But I thank you again all very much for your initiative. Thanks again for the Future team. And I can reassure that we as Deutsche Bank are really proud of you. And thank you all the partners. But that's enough for my part here right now. So guys, let's go. And Vanessa, please take over.
And you can see their results, but maybe quickly before we do so, quick overview of the agenda. What I would like to do before we start into the teams, I would like to give a short recap of the mission and show where we came from, and also give you some impressions of the last 3 months. So that's quite important for me. But I'll do this short. And then we start off with the first 3 teams before the lunch break. Then we have a lunch break at 12. And then we have 2 more teams coming up after lunch break. What we then have, Walter Sinn with us from Bain and Company, who's also going to say a few words to the teams and to the corporates, and a big thanks to everyone. So that's what we're going to have after the teams and the pitches. And then by the end, we are going to have a short panel discussion with the corporates, also with the teams, to see how how everything went, how the experiences were during the last 3 months. And then a quick outro, and officially our live stream will then end by 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to have then breakout sessions afterwards, but this is only for a small group of people of our corporates. So live stream will end at 3 o'clock. I would like to take you on a quick journey now for the mission and what happened. For those who haven't been involved that much, just a few words on the setup. So everything was centered around the 5 Lebenswelten, we called them. So 5 teams working in those areas, which are education, consumption, food, mobility, and impact investment. And those 5 teams and 5 areas has been accompanied by our amazing corporate clients. For education, it was Frankfurt School. Consumption and food, we had Kaufland with us. For mobility, it was Daimler. And then for investing, it was Zurich. But also, of course, our premium partner, Deutsche Bank, was always involved during those times. And there was also DWS and Medallia being involved in the program. So most of you, hopefully on the stream, had been with us for the kickoff. And so now it would be interesting to see 3 months later what happened, looking at the beginning of our program.
Der Weg in eine nachhaltigere Zukunft, wir ahnen, er wird lang und er will finanziert werden. Und so hat sich ein neuer Begriff in der Finanzwelt durchgesetzt: Green Banking. Doch was steckt dahinter? Und warum ist vielleicht gerade die Finanzbranche ein Schlüssel für Nachhaltigkeit?
Die Transformation bedeutet Veränderung. Veränderung muss finanziert werden. Der Finanzflüsse lenkt und entscheidet, wo sie hingehen, hat eine ganz zentrale, mitentscheidende Rolle. Ob wir die richtigen Dinge finanzieren, zur richtigen Zeit, in der richtigen Intensität und damit dann auch tatsächlich Entwicklung auslösen.
Bedeutung und Verantwortung ist dabei fast allen Banken bewusst.
Wenn wir diskutieren Banking wie Green, darf ich sagen, dass wir mit einer ganzen Reihe von Banken sprechen, was Sustainability heißt für deren insgesamt Positionierung, aber vor allem auch, und das ist, denke ich, besonders spannend, wie man sich jetzt differenzieren kann am Kunden. Und da geht es dann um Produkte, Services, und es war schön, kommen ja gerade aus den ersten Pitches heraus, zu sehen, wie da die jungen Studenten mit wirklich spannenden Ideen kommen, die Bankenprodukte auch durchaus sexy machen.
Attraktive Produkte? Genau das wollen die Teams bei The Mission Green Banking liefern. Sie entwickeln in den nächsten 3 Monaten völlig unterschiedliche Finanzprodukte in den Bereichen Bildungsfinanzierung, Konsum, Ernährung, Versicherung und Mobilität.
Wir fordern erstmal die wirklich jungen Leute mit den besten Ideen nach vorne. Zeigt uns mal, wie ihr das neu lösen wollt. Und dann sage ich immer so ein bisschen, das ist wie so ein All-Inclusive-Programm. Die Teams kommen hoffentlich mit viel Motivation, Kreativität, und wir Future zusammen auch ganz stark unterstützt von Bain & Company, coachen die wirklich in den 3 Monaten durch, von ihrer ersten Idee über den Prototyp, Businessmodell, testen, validieren, nächste Iteration. Da helfen wir sehr stark an den Teams.
Neue Ideen werden auf jeden Fall gebraucht, denn auf Nachfrage betonen zwar viele Kunden, dass ihnen Nachhaltigkeit wichtig ist, aber oft bezieht sich das eher auf den wöchentlichen Einkauf als auf die eigenen Geldgeschäfte.
Nachhaltigkeit ist ja ein großes Thema, aber das ist erst noch im Kopf. Das ist noch nicht bei den Händen angekommen. Also von Haltung ist es noch nicht zur Handlung gekommen. Wir merken das aber immer mehr und Schritt für Schritt wird das immer mehr zum wirklichen Bedarf für neue Fonds, neue Services, die dann wirklich nachhaltig sind. Aber da ist noch ein Weg zu gehen und den wollen wir natürlich mitzumischen und mit unseren Kunden vorwärts gehen.
Längst haben die Banken eigene Abteilungen für nachhaltige Finanzprodukte und doch liefert der Kunde selbst oft die besten Hinweise.
Ich unterstelle den Banken auf jeden Fall, dass sie dafür Ideen haben. Natürlich im Sinne von Nachhaltigkeit, glaube ich, haben die Banken sicher auch Room for Improvement noch besser zu verstehen, wie sie das Bedürfnis der meisten Konsumenten, die ja nachhaltig sein wollen, unterstützen können. Und wir glauben, Kunden bilden die besten Produkte.
Die jungen Teams bei The Mission sollen im besten Fall den Spagat schaffen. Sie sind selbst junge, anspruchsvolle Kunden, aber eben auch Entwickler. Welche Idee sich am Ende der 3 Monate durchsetzt? Erfahren Sie es hier.
Perfect. So, as you heard, nearly 3 months gone, 11 weeks in specific. And when we have a quick look at the different phases during the last 3 months, we had like lots on onboarding, kickoffs, then there was a phase on insights and concepts, and at the end prototyping, and then of course also the testing. And what I would like to do, just to give you some sort of impressions of our last 11 weeks, of the teams, of the corporates, what we have done, so you get a better understanding. Onboarding week, I think this was an amazing and very energetic week. We had some very cool sessions. Also, for example, at Bain, and talking about agile working methods, and there was lots of other great activities during the onboarding week. Then, of course, we had our milestones events. The first one you have seen with a kickoff. And then, as you know, during Corona, we switched also to remote. So this was also, I think, a very good interim pitch event we had. We had a whole day on user research accompanied by a company supporting us. So that I think was very helpful, especially at the beginning, to see like, okay, what users do we have? What do we want to look at? Then, of course, we had lots of daily work and visits. We also see Manfred over here, who joined us for a session here in the Tech Quad here. And of course, quite important during that program, again, our core values, the values we defined during our mission, together with the teams and the corporates. So this was kind of our code of values we put together with the 5 values of trust, appreciation, empathy, courage, and open-mindedness. And I have to say, all those values guided us, in specific in Corona times, through us, so that we're standing here and having great results. So I think this was extremely important. Yes, and last but not least, I have to say, of course, Corona came, but that gave us lots of challenges, but I think we tackled and handled all well. And this was due because there was an ongoing support of all corporate partners. There was support of the teams. There was lots of understanding, lots of appreciation. So there was lots of support during these times, be it the Postbank Ideenlabor, where we managed to get some amazing results during research. So this was also very, very nice. And I'll come to my thank you later on, but on that regard, I think I can only say a big thank you to everyone in that difficult times to make that happen and possible and keep up the good attitude. So, and now I very quickly would like to introduce the teams, because you might have recalled and seen we had specific kind of Lebenswelten, but of course the teams gave themselves some names, and just to make sure that everybody knows which team and which name. Just like to quickly, briefly introduce. So we had the team education, and team education is called now GreEnFin or GreEnFin. So that's our education team. Then we had the team mobility, and team mobility is called Drive and Save. So you will see those names, of course, later on. We had the team food, and team food is now Your Choice, you might recall. We also had our former retirement investment team that is called now Impact for Real. And lastly, we had our consumption team, which is called Budge. Okay, so now you know which team and which Lebenswelt is in. And this will be now my last slide, because I think that's important how we run these pitching sessions now. So as you see, we have 3 first teams starting with education before the break, and then 2 others at the end. The teams are going to have 20 minutes to pitch their ideas and present their outcomes, which is then followed by a feedback session, which is broadly 7 minutes. So we're going to look if there are any feedbacks coming from the audience here in the tech quartiers, so physically, and also, of course, then remotely. For everyone who's in Zoom and knows how the webinar works, you just need to raise your hand in Zoom, and then Yannis will have a look and bring you in. Or you can also, if you want, chat a question or like post a question also in Zoom. So there's these 2 ways, and then we'll see how to bring this together so that every feedback and question is being addressed here. Okay, I think that's it from my end. So we're now moving on to the first pitch. So big applause for Team Education's coming up now.
Thank you, Vanessa, for the introduction, and also welcome from my side. I'm very excited to be the first of the teams who is able now to present the results of the past 3 months that we have been working on. We are a team education called GreEnFin, and we think we have come up with a solution to solve the problem of how to educate the next generation for a sustainable economy and a sustainable future. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a couple of things that we have been doing in the past weeks. And I want to start with the current situation and what we are facing right now, what environment we find ourselves in, and how that led us also to formulate our problem statement. So for now, we are witnessing at the moment 3 major movements. On the one hand, we have been seeing students in the past month, not right now, but demonstrating in the streets and fighting against climate change and really forcing government and corporates to take action. On the other hand, and we have heard it already before, also the financial sector is actually moving forwards towards more sustainability. Investments in sustainable products, ESG products, have been increasing in the past year. And third, we also see that corporates are increasingly also announcing that they go carbon neutral, and they also want to do more in terms of sustainable business models. In fact, we do see that more than or about 2/3 of companies have integrated the idea of sustainability in their core mission. What does that mean? Of course, they also need now experts in terms of sustainability to put these business models in practice. And we do see that students nowadays, they actually require more training in terms of sustainability and sustainable development. And astoundingly, 91% of students from an international survey in 6 countries has shown that they see the topic of sustainability should be actively incorporated in their place of study, like in the universities or place of education. All right, this has led us then to all these 3 major movements to formulate our problem statement, where we bring all these streams together. We ask ourselves, how can we educate students in sustainable finance so that they contribute to a sustainable economy? To find an answer to this question, we did some first user research. We went into the field and we started to ask students what they already know about sustainability, what they know about sustainable finance, how they also like to see sustainability integrated in corporations, but also at their universities. And also, we wanted to know what's important to them as a student and where do they see the future heading in terms of sustainability. Our results, based on 22 interviews with students and incoming students at the university in Frankfurt, Frankfurt School of Finance, and also from our network, has shown that there are 5 major points that they ask for. They want more internships and practical experience. They want to learn more about sustainable finance now that we have told them about the topic. And they also want to see how businesses are actually integrating that topic. They want to develop their own ideas to put our planet towards a more sustainable future. They look for network opportunities, also with regards to their future job. And in that regard, they also would like to have a job that's related to sustainability, or at least where their values and norms are reflected. So where does a student start from here? They have all these ideas and needs and wants. of course, they start looking online. What's there on sustainable finance? And we have put together here just a selection of institutions, organizations, alliances, what is going on at the moment in terms of sustainable finance. And it's overwhelming. It's cluttered information. It's really hard to get a grasp of what is this all about. So we believe that we wanted to find a solution for this. And with GreEnFin, we think we have found it. GreEnFin is a platform that educates students in sustainable finance and provide them with opportunities to make a lasting impact on a sustainable economy. So GreEnFin is a platform that will bring together, on the one hand, students who are interested in sustainable finance and sustainability, and on the other hand, corporates that also want to transform towards more sustainability. On our platform, we provide them with information on sustainable finance topics, learning modules. They have the ability to participate in events, in projects with corporates, but also to look for a job if they actually want to engage in the working place. And how that actually looks like, we would like to show you in a short clip of the video of our platform. And I hope works now. Yes, so a student who will come to our platform will first see that this platform is about education, and it's about telling them what sustainable finance is about. They will also learn that we are working together with corporates to actually move forward to a sustainable economy. They also see that they will be part of a community. They have different features where they can engage with. And for the start, they might first click on insights. They want to get insights on the topic. So what they see here is an overview on synthesized content on sustainable finance that's out there and prepared for them. We will also provide them with a dedicated online course that we will prepare ourselves with experts in the field that would take about 10 hours for the student to complete and will be awarded with a certificate. We also have videos that are already available for them to watch, literature that we summarize for them, online courses that are related to sustainable finance, study programs in terms, or even if they decide to study a master in the field, and of course also research that has updated information on that topic. The second part they would like to look at are events. So maybe they find out that there's an event nearby them, maybe in Berlin and Frankfurt, maybe in a European city, where they can learn more about sustainable finance and interact with experts in the field from corporates or academia. There might be also a topic, for example, on the Corona crisis and what that means for sustainable finance. The third part will then be projects. So here we actually provide the students with a concrete business case that corporates provide us with, where students can engage with corporates to solve the issue in terms of sustainable finance. And if that's not enough, they might also, after being educated in the field, also start looking for a job or an internship in the field. And here we have a whole list of jobs and vacancies in the field by our corporate partners in the field of sustainable finance or in sustainable organizations. And of course, they are all entry-level vacancies, so that's really tailored to the students. Now you might ask, how do we get our people and our students engaged? We are providing very updated and regular blog with interviews of corporates and videos, and we have a monthly newsletter where we reach out to our students. Last but not least, some people might ask, well, I really like this idea and I want to support you, so how can I become part of it? So we provide 3 options for people. They can either become a corporate partner for organizations, you can donate as individual or company, and you can also post a job in case you're an organization. For you as a partner, that means actually being prominently placed and on our platform with your logo on our homepage. And I hope this has given you a first glimpse of GreEnFin and our platform and how it should look like. Overall, the main goals, therefore, with GreEnFin are to educate students to learn more about sustainable finance. We want to develop new business ideas together with corporates. We want to connect the students with corporates to put this idea forward, and thereby also initiating more projects and activities in sustainability. And of course, also creating community that brings together the students with corporates. Of course, you might ask, well, how does that actually work? What's the potential here? So we have done our market research, and I want to present you what the potential of our platform actually is. First of all, we have looked into the market. What's already out there? You see the major players, Coursera, Udemy, and edX, and their courses that are somehow related to sustainability. However, you see that none actually of these courses is specifically tailored to sustainable finance. We see strategy and sustainability, circular economy, or social entrepreneurship, but nothing with sustainable finance. On the other hand, of course, there are also some offerings by prestigious organizations like Cambridge, Oxford, Frankfurt School of Finance, but most of them are actually tailored towards financial professionals and executives, and on top of that, they're extremely expensive, so not really affordable for students. So we have done a user testing with our GreEnFin platform with students and with our target group of people between 20 and 25 and studying business or related fields. And all of them were really enthusiastic about our platform. They wanted to subscribe immediately. They really want to learn more about sustainability and sustainable finance. They really value the complete package because everything is in one place for them. They love the idea of being part of a community and being engaged with corporates. And they also overall found the prototype well structured and appealing. So what's the potential market here then? What are we talking about? What are the people that we're gonna attract with our platform? We have done some research and looking into what are the number of students in our relevant fields of studies, which is economics, business, or international management. And overall, we come up with about 400,000 students that might be related to our topic of sustainable finance. And according to a recent research by Umweltbundesamt here in Germany, the people in our age area are actually 31% of them are interested in the environmental protection and sustainability. So if we take about half of those people and have a very conservative estimate, we hope to at least reach 150 to 200,000 people with our website, being visiting our platform or also subscribing to our newsletter. So what's in for you, maybe as a partner, as an organization, you might ask. First of all, on a very broader level, you contribute to a sustainable economy. This is really what this mission is about, right? You improve your reputation by also associate yourself with a sustainability topic. You gain innovative business ideas by working together with students, as we are doing here. You educate and train the next generation, so you can be part of this. And of course, you can connect with young talents and also with young customers, the people that you are missing right now. And actually, GreEnFin doesn't only attract appealing job candidates for you. We have come up with some of the features that our students who would come to our platform would show. They are not only studying relevant fields for you, they are also enthusiastic about sustainability, they have an international mindset, and they also have a problem-solving mindset. However, or on top of that, if they stay on our platform and they use all the features, we actually trained them to become the perfect candidates for you to work in your corporates or become part of you. They develop networking and communication skills. They show excellent performance by doing our courses, practical experience by working together on projects, where they also can showcase their team player instinct and independent way of working, and of course also showing their analytical thinking. So how are we going about to approach you as strategic partners and also getting people on board to this platform? We have, first of all, we have reached to our personal network that we know also from our practical experience so far. In the second stage, and this is where we are here right now, we are reaching out to the Futury network. Third stage will be to really approach core strategic partners that will have a signaling function of how prominent and international our platform will be. And the fourth stage, we hope to use networking effects to really make this to an international, global, successful platform. In fact, we have already started with the first step, namely reaching out to our personal network. And here I can proudly present you already some of the people that have agreed and are really enthusiastic about being part of this platform. We have people from all over the world, from India, Brazil, Canada, UK. And just to mention as an example, we have a finance professor from India. She is an expert in sustainable development, and she has already agreed on providing a module on impact investment, also coupled with a case study that she is working on in India in terms of capacity building. So all of them are really already pushing us forward to develop and launch our platform. Next point is, how are we going to finance that, of course? It also needs to be viable to some extent. And we have three main pillars how our project will be financed. First, we have membership fees, vacancy advertisements, and course fees. And I want to go a little bit in more detail. First of all, if you become a corporate partner, you have two options to choose from. You can become a basic corporate partner, which is 1,000 euros a month, which then means that your logo will be showed, and you can also unlimited times advertise your vacancy on our platform. With a premium account, you will have additionally premium access to our students by also placing your content on our newsletter. If you opt not to become a corporate partner, but just want to place your vacancy, you can also choose from 3 different pricing plans. And here it's also, for the first one, you can only place 1 vacancy for 30 days, the second one to up to 5 vacancies per month, and with 500 euros a month, you can unlimited post your job vacancies. A smaller part of our financial resource are then the online courses. These will only cost about 50 euros because we want to make it affordable for our students. But here we also see some income for our business. And we have done some first assessments. Obviously, this is not going to be the next unicorn. We have a more philanthropic and more idealistic approach here. But to just come up with the fixed costs that we are now really have calculated so far, we think that based on the platform setup, advertisement, and our employee costs, we will have about 14,000 to 15,000 euros cost per month. And this can easily be covered by only having 10 corporate partners, 10 vacancy subscription in the middle range, 10 online courses taken by students, and maybe a scholarship of 1,000 euros per month. So with that, we will already achieve a break even. So it's a really low running economic model. And we also try to achieve here a self-sustaining business model. So what's ahead? First of all, I want to present you who has been on board on this project. First, Adela Dessana, she's a project manager and responsible for strategy. Marius Braun, he's into research and communication. Myself, I'm responsible for content and partnerships, and Sophia will be doing promotion and social media in the future. So what have we achieved so far as a team? First of all, we have a well-functioned user-tested prototype that I just showed you. We have already started with a partner acquisition with our personal network. We have first content contributions that we are already getting from our people. We have a first business model and business model canvas that we have also a bit more detailed. And we have developed a partnership strategy and a communication strategy. So in the next step then, we hope that we really achieve and hope to make this platform successful by keeping up acquiring our partners, synthesizing content, create our own content in terms of blog and course modules. Also hoping then to finally launch our platform in July, coupled with the kickoff communication. And by the end of 2020 and beyond, we of course hope that we have an international, well-recognized and respected education platform on sustainable finance. So how can you get involved now in this project? Either you are going to integrate GreEnFin, our platform, in your corporation. Maybe we can become a partner here. Or you decide to only become a corporate partner in terms of monthly membership fees. Or there might be even more possibilities that we are very happy to talk about in the breakout session. So from here, thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the breakout session and talking with you.
Thank you very much, Nadine, and not only Nadine, also the rest of the team. I think this is amazing progress. Also, when we compare to beginning of that program and the kickoff and the idea you were looking at, we changed a little bit. So there might be some questions now. So I'm really looking forward to get some feedback questions. And I'm looking into the round here. Do we have Thomas? Thomas? You're happy about the progress? Any feedback you want to give if there's no question? I think we need a mic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I think at the outset, the idea was to create a platform that would provide loans for students.
Right.
I think by far the leverage here is much greater for the cause. And I think it is much easier to set up and to run. And the multiplication effect will be much more beneficial to what the content is about. So there's been quite a few turns in these 11 weeks, but I think the outcome is a great one. And I look forward to having that prospering and building up the reach.
Super, thanks. Thanks also, of course, again to our corporate partners, and in that regard, Thomas, who was very close to the team and has seen that shift and change and supported it. I'm sure we have some more feedbacks, quotes, comments, questions. I'm looking over to Janus now. Michael Tilpitz from Deutsche Bank.
Yes, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Michael?
Yes.
Can you speak?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Janus just promoted you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Do you have your volume on?
Michael?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else raising their hands? Maybe Frankfurt School? There was one? Yes, we do. Yeah. Ah, okay. We're just hearing that we can hear Michael's voice, or at least the teams. Ah, maybe we try again. Let's see.
Now?
I think now maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Hi together. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, super. First of all, thank you very much, Nadine, for the very professional presentation of today. I'm really impressed, and I have to really say so first for all of you teams, that in such a short time you create so many and really astonishing ideas, develop prototypes, and even have now this professional pitches here in front of us. Thank you all, and thank you, Nadine, for the beginning. My feedback is I like the idea that you developed. It's the second idea you are presenting today, and because it's closing a gap between the importance of sustainability and the knowledge base of people, which is quite low, even along the student base. And the idea of building one platform, which is not existing so far, that includes information, events, jobs, projects, and building up a community is excellent, I think. It's also very, very beneficial for the user and also for the corporates, or the partners that you're aiming at. You showed us that there is worldwide a high potential, even though in Germany, which is very good, also for us as a bank or as potential corporate partner in this project. And I really do like your partnership strategy that you already started. And I'm really, really positive that Deutsche Bank will be one of your first premium partners. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sounds great.
Thank you, Michael. Fantastic. Thank you. Anybody else? Feedback, quotes?
Well, maybe I can say again that
Yes.
we're really grateful for the support from the corporate partners, and they really helped us tremendously throughout the process. It's really good to have weekly catch-ups and meetings to really brainstorm and get insights. So really big thank you also from our side again.
Pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, great. We have this afternoon in our breakout session, so I think there's more time to discuss and further deep dive into next steps. So then I would suggest, thank you, Nadine, and we're setting everything up for the next team. The only thing is now business, we're a little bit ahead of. Yeah. All right, good. So we're ahead of time. Yep. Präsentieren. Habe ich schon. Nee. Macht er nicht. All right, good. Then I'm very happy to kind of open up for the second pitch from our mobility team, Drive and Save. And I'm handing over to Marcus now to give us some more insights and everything that has been worked on the last 3 months. So the clicker, Marcus, I'll leave it here and you can take it. Thank you.
Hallo? Kann man mich hören? Ja. Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Also a very warm welcome from Team Mobility to all the people tuning in from home, as well of course for the people to the people that actually made their way here today. Team Mobility is very excited to present our idea and our business model of Drive and Save. Let me quickly walk you through our agenda. We will first start with an introduction to our team. Then we will address the status quo and how we have identified it over the last few months and want to make an impact in that regard. We do that by showing you on a high level our solution, Drive and Save. We will then go on to talk about and quickly define the target market, and then dive deeper into the actual features of our application or prototype that we have built. Successively, we will then take a look at our business model and make the magic behind the app a little bit clearer. And then we will take a look at the roadmap and what lies ahead of us for the next few months to come and potentially years. Our team consists of three members, being Linda Klein-Hückels-Koten, who is mainly responsible for user and market research and also administrative tasks. She always made sure that they were taken care of. Then Nikhil Narang, who was our head prototype developer, and then myself, Markus Kupfer, and I was mainly responsible for making sure that we came up with a viable business model and also for the external communication. The status quo and what we have identified. Well, over our research, we have identified that people significantly underestimate the positive effect that can result from driving more sustainably. By driving more sustainably, you can actually save a dramatic amount of money in terms of fuel savings, for example, as well as CO2 emissions. And And there's actually already existing feedback in modern cars that could give you quite some information about this, and therefore help you to mitigate this effect of not saving fuel and emissions. However, people, and this we have identified, pay very little attention to this, and many people ignore it altogether. So we asked ourselves, what can we do to give people a reason to pay attention to this feedback, and also maybe to improve the feedback even further, and then B, and more importantly, to actually use this feedback to then adjust their behavior and become truly more sustainable. And the solution to this is Drive and Save. We created an application and a platform that motivates people to become more sustainable based on two main dimensions, which are feedback and incentives. When we talk about feedback, we're talking about, on the one hand, direct driving feedback, which gives you feedback on how you are actually driving in the moment, essentially, and then also consequential feedback of what is the effect of your driving behavior. So in this case, CO2 emissions. And the picture of the CO2 emissions is not loading, unfortunately, but you can imagine it. And then on the other side, the other dimension, we have the incentives. And there we have two types as well, which are social incentives in form of gamification aspects, and then also financial incentives. And how exactly we implemented this, we will of course show you when we talk about the features. Before we do that though, let's take a quick look at the target market that we have identified for launching our idea. The ideal market for Drive and Save to be launched in is the corporate car market. And in this sense, corporates would be our target customer, and in the end, the target users would be the employees of these corporates. There are several reasons for why this is the case, and the corporate ecosystems provide an ideal way for us to start our implementation. First, in a corporate setting and leasing setting, usually all the technical prerequisites that we need, for example, for providing driving feedback, are already given, because almost exclusively corporate cars are relatively new and therefore up to the necessary standards in that regard. Additionally to this, the corporate setting provides us all the available data that we require to build our calculations on, without further implementing some fixes, which we have thought of and we are able to, but here we are already able to access them right away through, for example, the providence of fuel cars, which then immediately provide us with information like the average consumption, the kilometers driven, and also the price of the gas that consumers actually get. Then, of course, the ecosystem of a company already provides the perfect community for us to implement our system, and the employer itself can also help us to put the word out to the employees and market our idea. And then lastly, last but definitely not least, there's tremendous saving potential for both sides, the employers and the employees, that we can create. And how exactly we do this, we'll show you in the business model. But this is really a great selling point for us, and a great point where both can, where we form a win-win situation and both can profit from this idea. The corporate car market is actually a very sizable market and a very interesting market for us as well. And it consists, the total of it consists of 5.2 million cars. And we can access all of them theoretically. However, especially in the beginning, it's particularly interesting for us are fleets of corporates that have at least 20 cars, which make up 1 million of these 5.2 million, and are spread across 16,000 different companies. If we access only those 1 million cars, and we're able to reduce the fuel by 30%, and maybe Drive and Save can't do this all by itself, but it shows the dimensions that we're talking about this. We could actually save more than $1 billion more than 1 billion kilograms of CO2. So the impacts are quite, and the potential are quite significant here. Now that we have defined a target market, let's now take a look at the actual thing, the actual app, the prototype that we have developed, Drive and Save. And we're happy and excited to present that to you today. As we said before, we're focusing on 2 main dimensions, which are feedback and incentives. So let's start with the feedback, which consists, as I said, of driving and consequential feedback. Let's enter the app. We have now reached the home screen of the Drive and Save app. On the top, you see useful information about your personal car. But since now we're looking for the feedback, we will move this up for now and go through the home screen to look for the feedback. We will scroll down. And we will see the eco score, which is the driving feedback that drivers can receive. The eco score is a tangible score from 1 to 100, which gives the driver essentially a evaluation of his of the sustainability of his driving. It's based on acceleration, cruising, and coasting. Where acceleration refers obviously to how aggressively you accelerate. Cruising refers to how you decelerate, how you anticipating your drive, and then coasting refers to the overall smoothness of your driving. The user also has the user also has the opportunity to see additional information about his individual drives and also about each of these points here, and receives tips and tricks to improve his behavior. Now that we have covered the driving feedback, let's now have a look at the consequential feedback and look at the CO2 savings that a user can see. This is the CO2 savings screen, and here the user can first see how much CO2 he emits, how much CO2 he saves in comparison to other drivers, and also to make matters even more tangible for the driver, we implemented a tree equivalent, which actually refers to the number of trees that would be needed to equate the same amount of savings that the user has reached. So in this case, the user has a tree equivalent of 193, which means his savings are the same amount of how much 193 trees would use up CO2 in a year. So this is meant to add additional tangibility to the feedback that the user gets, because from our user research, which also showed that feedback itself can actually have a great motivational factor if it is tangible. There we also got the we got the feedback that it should really be tangible and not just plain numbers in CO2, for example, that people don't really understand what is meant by that. You can also see the personal development here, which also was pointed out by users is a very interesting factor. Let's go into the next dimension, which is the social, which is the incentive side, and more specifically the social incentive side. Also, this proved to be very motivating for people. I mean, obviously, some people are motivated by one aspect, others by others. But this is the beauty about Drive and Save, that we have something to motivate everyone. And for many of them, even the combination, of course, is most interesting. So let's go to the community aspect of the app. For the community or the gamification section, we came up with 3 different offers, which are a common goal, that is a clear defined goal by a company that could, for example, be accomplished over the course of 1 year. There's also personal challenges that users can accept and then challenge themselves against themselves for a certain period of time. So, for example, it could be to reach an eco score of 90 for 1 week. And then also we have competitions, which of course addresses mostly the people who are very competitive and are are motivated by that. However, during our research, we realized that the common goal was most motivating for people, which is also why we take a special look at it during this pitch right now. So let's go on the common goal, and we see it here. This is a common goal that the company set for this year, which is to reach a tree equivalent overall for the company of 100,000 trees, which equates to 2.2 million kilograms of CO2. However, I mean, this is very interesting for the user, of course, but we also heard that users want to know what is their personal contribution and what is their development over time. So we additionally provide this information on this screen as well. As we scroll down, we see the eco score on the bottom, but we already looked at it. And then we also see my contribution in terms of the common goal. Here the user has the opportunity to look for himself what is his or her contribution, and also to compare it to the average user, and the particularly well-performing users are also highlighted in the bottom in the Hall of Fame. This now leads us to our final form of incentive, which is the financial incentives. And this actually proved during our research also to be the most motivating form of incentives. However, we didn't just want to pay out some random amount of cash to people, and we actually also found out that this is not the most motivating form to do so. What we instead did was we came up with a mobility budget. And I'll explain to you what this means. So the users receive a certain amount of savings for driving more sustainably, and where this saving comes from, we will talk about in the business model. But he receives this amount of savings, and it's shown in his or her personal mobility budget. The user can then use this mobility budget to invest in a variety of different redeeming options. And here also we wanted to make sure that these are not generic rewards or options, like for example the 5th toaster or a mixer you could get, as was also pointed out by quite a few of our users in the user and market research. Instead, we want to provide a variety of mobility and sustainability options to redeem for the user here. And let's take a look of what they are. As you see here, these our partners have also the option to provide additional advertisement and special offers, which also is of course interesting for them, and then interesting for the user as well, because he can benefit from special offers. But let's take a look of what these offers actually are. The user has the choice to either invest his mobility budget into a green ESG investment fund. He or she can use it to buy credit from e-scooters as well. So making this truly mobile as well in terms of mobility. And then also the user can use the mobility budget to buy public transportation tickets, always of course ideally at a discount. And then and the last choice is to donate the mobility budget. The user can freely choose what percentages are paid for each. So he or she also has the freedom there. Now we showed you the main features of our app Drive and Save. Let's now take a look at where this money actually comes from, because I am sure that quite a few of you in the audience are specifically asking that question. Well, here the assumption is that this company we show up here consists of 6,000 fleets, and the employer is paying for the gas of the employees. It works equally if, for example, the employee pays a fixed rate for gas on a monthly basis. So what happens if we actually motivate people to drive more sustainably? Well, the fuel costs will drop drastically. The more we motivate people, of course, to drive more sustainably, the larger this effect will be. And so there will, on a yearly basis, there will be a saving. And this is exactly where the money comes from. So immediately this saving will be for the employer. And if he doesn't pass it on, it will be 100% for the employee. However, the employer also wants its employees to benefit from motivating them to drive more sustainably. So at least a part of that he will pass on to its employees in the mobility budget. And of course, the employer has a choice of how much he wants to pass on here. And also important to point out, only the sustainable drivers will receive, or like, I mean, of course, there's some kind of a degree of you're not either super sustainable or super unsustainable, but the more sustainable you are, the larger share you will get of these savings. And if there's no savings, then there will be no payout. And this is where the model is also perfectly aligned with the common goal. Because if you're reaching a common goal, by definition, you're also saving a lot of CO2. So if you do reach the goal, you will also have a significant saving. And this savings will then also financially benefit the employees and the employer. Of course, the money part, the financial part is not the only issue where you save significant amounts, but also in emissions. And this is then linked to the common goal, of course, already. But yeah, here you also have drastic improvements, and which makes it, of course, for both sides very interesting. Down the line, we also see great potentials for reductions in insurance policies and also maintenance costs, because driving more sustainably is also very much correlated with driving safer, and therefore also putting less of a toll on your vehicles. Let's have a quick look how this would look for a user. So the very sustainable user will go into his or her app, and then we'll see if he or she enters the mobility budget, that there is a significant savings amount. In this case, it's 446 euros that the user is now free to use in the mobility budget. So sustainable drivers are rewarded for their driving behavior. However, and now we look at the unsustainable driver. This case, and hopefully be motivated to drive more sustainable next year to also receive a sustainable significant payout in the end. Of course, a similar trend can be observed when looking at the CO2 emissions. The very sustainable driver will be shown that the user has saved drastic amounts of CO2, while the very unsustainable driver sees that in comparison to others, the user has actually emitted quite a lot additional CO2, and hopefully be from that, because many people don't realize what the difference is, and by looking at that, be motivated to change that in the future as well. So an important question is also, how do we make money from this as Drive and Save? Well, we actually thought of several ways of how we can create revenue streams for Drive and Save as well. The first opportunity is to demand an implementation fee, kind of a consultancy fee, if we implement this with the company and create savings for the employer and the employees. And then we take, just for implementing this, we can demand an implementation fee. Of course, these savings can be drastic, and also we can demand then a variable payment for the amount of savings that we actually created. Additional revenue streams can come from the mobility budget and the purchases that users make through the mobility budget. So there can be a commission for each of the purchases that are performed. And also, we showed you earlier, there's the opportunity for each of the partners to play additional advertisement, which will also lead to revenue streams for us. Now that we have shown you our solution, our application, our prototype, let's take a quick look at the next steps and what lies ahead. We will, following this project, we will continue to validate our business model and establish our MVP. Then we're looking very much for partnering with companies, corporate companies, that we can start our idea with and implement a pilot. And of course, then we would have to adjust certain features perfectly on the demands of that particular company. Then we think this is realistic to start a true pilot, actually to start the project in the beginning of next year. And then also next year, we will start to then hopefully implement this solution within other companies. And also, down the line, we see great potential to implement Drive and Save on a public market, a private market, so not a corporate market, which of course would open up many other doors in terms of scalability. And we do have quite concrete ideas there as well, which of course we are very happy to share as well. But for now, this was it. And we are very, we're very much appreciative of your feedback and are super happy to answer any questions. And as a final remark, I would like to say, for me, this project has already changed my driving behavior quite significantly, paying attention to it. And we are very confident as a team that Drive and Save can do the same for many more people out there. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Marcus and team. Highly impressed, I have to say. For me, I just thought like if that app would be available already, I would download straight away and use it from today onwards because I'm also one of those drivers who has no clue what's in the car and what the car can provide you as information. So, and I think I have it in my car, but I'm not using it. So I would definitely be also like a big clear customer. So I'm hoping that this will follow on and I can, besides not being a corporate partner, being a private, client then as well. Great. Okay. Thank you, Marcus and team. Moving on to our question round. Is there any feedback question in the audience here in the TechWart here? Then I would call them out first. Yeah, we don't want to bring them up here on stage because of Corona. That's why we are not bringing up the teams.
We can have 1.5 meter.
Yes, Sandra has a question. Perfect. So Sandra, so then happy to move on and over to Sandra Klein from Daimler. Fantastic.
Hello, it's Sandra.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, great. So first of all, many thanks to the mobility team, Marcus, Linda, Nikhil, but also Vanessa and the Futury team. And first of all, I do not have a question, but I would like to apologize for the very limited support from our side during the whole process, but also as it seems right now for the time afterwards. So therefore, I would highlight really one thing to the mobility team, how you have dealt with this situation, this uncertainty, but also how you have really kept your very positive spirit, and also your communication skills whenever there was something or there were changes within the team. You had an excellent communication towards us. So a very good strength within the team, and I would just really like to highlight this as well. When it comes to the product itself, I would like to highlight three things that I really appreciated very much. First of all, when it comes to the whole business model, and also the clear definition of your target market, that's a very good, at least from my point of view, a very good view that you have. Secondly, when it comes to the app, and I think also during our last discussion, I also already emphasized this, that you have found a way to make the CO2 savings really more tangible with the tree comparison that you have found and chosen. That's really an excellent idea. And last but not least, really the different options you have included in the app when it comes to rewarding a better driving, starting with the personal development, but also when it comes to the social and financial incentives and the community thinking. So really, to the mobility team, Marcus, Linda, Nikhil, excellent work. Highly appreciated. Thanks a lot. And your last remark, Marcus, that you have already changed your driving behavior, that was really putting a smile on my face. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandra. Wow, cool, fantastic. Christian, perfect. Christian Müller from Deutsche Bank, who also supported the team during that time. So then happy to listen to Christian.
Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you, Vanessa and team, for this great event in these days. My congratulations on this great and professional presentation. I had the pleasure to personally and remotely support you and discuss your ideas over the last weeks and months. I must say that both you and your idea have really matured a lot in these last weeks. In the beginning, it was not so trivial to bring banking and mobility together in the sense of cars. But through Mission Cycle, you have really succeeded very well. It is something really tangible that you have developed that can actually have an impact, driving more sustainable and investing in sustainability. What I particularly like is that you were able to give an indication of the CO2 savings, and this will be the currency for sustainability in the future. And well, yes, my own driving behavior has changed, and I really look into my computer in my car and how much gas I'm consuming when I'm driving. So thank you very much for that. And I'm very, very curious how your concept will be implemented in practice. So all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also for me, of course, a very warm thank you to all the support we have gotten from all the partners, from Futury. It was really great. And yeah, we couldn't have done it without it. We're now pretty excited about our result. But yeah, it was a really amazing, unique experience for us.
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah. Do we have one more? Michael Tippitz, Deutsche Bank again.
Yes, hello. Hello, Marcus.
Now we hear you. Perfect.
Hello, Marcus and the Drive and Safe team. Thank you very much for your really perfect presentation. I could only add one last thing probably, because I see in your app very good opportunity also for internal signals that we could send in the company for our sustainable approach. So I would be really, really happy as corporate, as Deutsche Bank, to be your test driver on Drive and Safe. So thank you very much. Okay.
Woohoo!
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. That is amazing to hear, of course.
Janis, one more. Otherwise, we would have Charlie. Yeah. Okay. Then Charlie, here, if you can take it there, that would be great.
Yeah.
If you want, you can come on stage. Then I move on a little bit.
Is it working already? Oh.
So.
Yeah. Is it working already? Yeah. I just got one question. As you talked about driving behavior in terms. Yeah, sure. Okay. And when it comes to sustainability, and I've just got one question. I'm just curious towards Zurich Insurance. Would that be also interesting for you when you're talking about driving behavior when it comes to safety, maybe to integrate it kind of in an insurance solution?
Yeah, for sure. This would be amazing. And there have been examples in the past, at least, where yeah, driving more smoothly is appreciated by insurances. So I'm not exactly sure about Zurich so far, but there's definitely examples, especially in the US. I've personally witnessed it. So yeah, I think there's quite some overlap that could be seen for sure.
Good. So. Anything else, Janis, or are we cool? Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, team. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're moving on then to the next setup for food. All right, then we're moving on to food. Harry, do you want the clicker? Yeah, I'll leave it over here to you. And then now over to our last team before the break, our food team called Your Choice.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. A very warm welcome to everyone present here and viewing the pitch remotely. I am Hari, and let's get this pitch started. Yeah, everybody knows how we started our journey. For Newton, it was the apples, and for us, it's the bananas. And today, we want to relive this amazing journey with you all over again. And hence, we have structured our agenda like a journey. And today, I will take you through each one of them, and we'll go through them again. So, how did we come together as a team? Well, they say pictures speak 1,000 words, and these pictures are a testament to how 4 people from different educational backgrounds and different walks of life came together and gelled instantaneously because we believed in 2 mottos for our team. 1 was to never stop believing in the idea, and 2, to always smile and pose for pictures. But on a serious note, these guys are quite a dream to work with. We have Yasmin, who is the sustainability expert and the brain behind our team. We have Nicholas, who managed the project and is the driving force of the team. Sai, the tech guy and the man behind a prototype. And finally, there is me, who did the research and is the spokesperson of the team. So as you can see, we brought all our different skills together, and it kind of fit perfectly to form the beautiful jigsaw puzzle. So once we came together, we had to find out what was the current situation and problems faced by the people. The current situation is affected by 3 factors. We have the industry, the people, and the practice. The food industry contributes to 1/3 of the carbon emissions worldwide. Hence, there needs to be a shift towards a more sustainable food industry. And when we talk about people, the sustainability interest in the people is rapidly rising. Hence, there is a high market potential there. And finally, when we talk about practice, there are hundreds of different ecological and social certificates out there. Hence, there needs to be a transparency and clear guidance on that front. So as you can see, we have these 3 different hypotheses. And in order to back these hypotheses, we conducted user interviews and surveys and found out that 88% of the people said sustainability plays an important role in their lives. And added to this, 44% of the German citizens said that they're LOHAS. That is, they've already adopted the lifestyle of health and sustainability. But interestingly, 66% of the people still said they wish to have a support for a sustainable purchasing decision. Something does not add up, right? So we had to dig deeper, and we found out that people view the quality of information presented in the market as a huge hurdle to buy sustainable. Why? Because there are so many labels out there, and there is no ranking, no structure to tell which product is more sustainable than the other. And as a consequence, you can see that people feel there is a lack of transparency in the market for them to buy sustainable. Hence, people clearly require help. And this is where we come in with our solution, Your Choice, because your choice as a customer truly matters. What we want to do is we want to help consumers to make sustainable purchasing decisions in line with their sustainability preferences by ranking and providing a structure to these food certificates. Easily said, but how do we manage to do this? Well, Linda had the same question. So who is Linda? Linda is our persona. She is young, she's tech savvy, and someone who is extremely concerned about the environment. So let's see how Linda would proceed through our app. So as soon as Linda enters the app, she is onboarded into the app with a set of introductory screens that tells her exactly what she could do with the app. So Linda sees that she could set her sustainability and eating preferences, and she learns that she could get personalized recommendations based on her preferences. She also learns that she could earn eco-social points. Well, the term eco-social points is alien to Linda. So she could click on this, and we would tell her that the eco-social points is the number of points each sustainable product in our app earns, depending upon the number of sustainability criteria that it manages to affect. So Linda is now completely satisfied with the onboarding process of the app and signs up into the app. she lands on this page where we ask her the different eating preferences she has. And Linda, being strictly vegan, chooses the vegan option and proceeds through the app. On this page, we ask Linda about her sustainability preferences that she wants to affect. As we all know, Linda is extremely environmentally conscious and she puts 3 stars on the environment. But what does these 3 stars mean to Linda? So she wants to know, and hence she could click on get more information, and what we would show her is the logic behind how we structure the certificates and labels, and what labels and certificates correspond to 3 stars, 2 stars, and so on. So Linda, now that she knows this information, is even more motivated to affect the environment to a greater extent. So what she does is she clicks on adjust subcategories, and then she would land on this page wherein we give her a wide array of subcategories for her to affect. Linda is someone who really prefers regional products. So she clicks on regional, and then we give her an opportunity to also rank her regional preferences. Linda believes that locally produced products is her favorite because she believes that they offer the least carbon footprint ever. So she gives it the highest rank so that she could have only locally produced products as her recommendation. And then she clicks on search, and she lands on a page where she can make so many different food choices. You know, Linda got up this morning wanting to buy chocolate cream. She had this craving. So she clicks on chocolate cream, and she lands on this page wherein she gets recommendations of chocolate cream based on her sustainability preferences. So what does Linda do? She adjusts the price bar at the top in order to match her elasticity, and she finds out that Nocelata is the best chocolate cream that she could buy that is matched along to her sustainability preferences. So what does Linda do now? She adds Nocelata to her shopping list, and then she lands on this page where she gets an overview of the total bill value and also the eco-social points. Added to this, we also give her an eco-social rating of her shopping list. So as you can see, Linda has done really well on environment front, and she can do a little bit better on the fair and social. So Linda has generated the shopping list in the app and is all ready to collect her points. So how would this look? So the next time Linda goes to the supermarket, she can scan her bill, and what we do is we match the scanned bill from the supermarket with the shopping list generated in the app via machine learning technique and assign her these eco-social points. As you can see, I was more excited than Linda to see how this would work, and that is me scanning the bill with my new favorite fashion accessory, the mask. And now Linda has earned these eco-social points. But what does she do with these points? So she clicks on loyalty, and then she has a choice to click on 3 different options. Either she could choose merchandise, where she could choose different merchandise of different retailers that she could buy using her points. She could choose discounts, wherein we give her an overview of different sustainable products that are offered at a discounted price. And also, she could choose support your locals, wherein we would give her an overview of different products sold by boutique stores, different sustainable products sold by boutique stores. So this is how Linda has used the app in order to make a sustainable purchasing decision. But the question now is, she's made this sustainable purchasing decision, but how has her decision made an impact on the world? Well, to find this out, we did a small experiment. On one hand, we have the normal shopping basket, and on the other hand, we have the Your Choice shopping basket. What is the difference? We replace 3 products from the normal shopping basket and replace them with 3 sustainable alternatives recommended by our app. And what we found out is there was a reduction of 36% reduction in the carbon dioxide emissions. So based on this logic, assume a user shops twice a week for an entire year. The amount of carbon dioxide emissions he would be able to reduce is 200 kilograms of carbon dioxide. And that is, in terms of distance, 1,000 kilometers traveled by car. So this is the impact of Your Choice. So we've extensively spoken about our app and its impact. Well, data remains to be the core foundation of our app, and Gaspin will tell you about this.
All right, so let's have a look. Oh, sorry. Let's have a look at the core of your choice. Right at the beginning, we ask our users about their eating habits, since eating habits won't change very often over time. Within the category of eating habits, we have collected some sub-criteria which are mostly health-related. With regard to the preference level that our users can choose from, we have reduced ourselves on the two main categories, environment and fair and social. And within each of these categories, we found some sub-criteria. And for each of these sub-criteria, we found at least 3 environmental and or social labels in the market. As you can also see, this board is still extendable on every level. So here are some remaining sub-criteria, which we find very important to be considered in the future to state the sustainability level of a product. But since there are no labels existent for now in the market, we cannot consider them for now. So within our process now, we asked ourselves what kind of data do we exactly need to make the recommendations part in our app happen. And we found out that 2 topics are really important. We need to set up a data-related database, a product-related database, and a label database. And the label why do we need to set up these labels? Our goal is to make products comparable regarding to their sustainability level. And we do this in the first step by looking at the labels. So we set up an eco-social score for all the products which are in our recommendations portfolio. And I will lead you now through this 4 stages approach, how we finally use labels to rank products. So at first, we take here as an example the Gepa chocolate cream and look at the packaging. You can here find these 3 environmental and social labels, which are the European Biostandard logo, a logo for responsible palm oil sourcing, and a fair trade logo. Then we allocate these labels here in our 2 main categories and the related sub-criteria. Then we set up manually a database with which we make labels, the quality of labels comparable. So within this example now, we are looking at the sub-criteria bio, and we collected all the bio labels which are in the market. So for example, Demeter, Bioland, Naturland, or in this case, what you can see here on the top right, the European Standard logo. Then we have a look at different criteria. And as you can also see, this European Standard logo is a very basic logo, which is only provided here with 1 point. As you remember, there were 2 other logos on the product, and we did the same for these other 2 products. And finally, we calculate the eco-social score. So as you can see here now, there are these 3 labels with the achieved points within each sub-criteria. And what is really important now is that we provide the eco-social score based on a category level. And this is also why now you take here the average of the points the product the labels have reached in the sub-criteria. Finally, you have reached an eco-social score of 4.5 for this product. And this builds the basic for calculating the eco-social points the users are provided with every product they bought within our app. Then coming back, which data do we need now exactly? On the one hand, the label data, and on the other hand, some product data related input. What we definitely need for our MVP is to have some product information about the price and origin. Then we need to classify our product. Is it a frozen product, milk product, etc.? Then we need a product picture. And finally, we have to know in which supermarket or online shop the product will be offered and sold. To state the sustainability level of food products more precise, we
Also, we're thinking about extending it, so we need some more information about the nutritions and the product description, and additionally some more information, for example, about the CSR impact of a food producer. So this, what you can see here now, is more or less like a wish list, and if this wish list is coming true, we'll tell you now like this.
Yes. Is this working? Yeah. Well, during our project, we thought this wish list might not come true, but we found partners who could make this dream happen. So in order to scale up our project, we need to automate the data flow. And GS1 is exactly doing this. They work together with retailers, suppliers, and producers to set standards in the industry for the trackability of food products. And we were in contact with them last week and introduced them to our logic system, and they really liked it. So they gave us the contact to Atrify, which is a subsidiary company of GS1. And what they are doing is exactly what we need to make our wish list come true. Atrify is collecting data to generate a digital product path, which includes all the information Jasmine was just mentioning. So these two companies are focusing on the supply side in order to help them being more efficient along the value chain. Whereas our product focuses on the customer and wants to bring them more transparency about food products. So we are in contact to Atrify, and we'll also introduce them to our logic system and see whether we can get on hands-on master data and challenge our logic together with them. So now that we know that our solution is possible, we can have a look into the business model. We understand your choice as a sustainable, independent sustainability marketing platform. Customers' demand is quickly matched with the supply of retailers and producers. And on the other hand, we have the advertisers who could participate of the indirect network effects. We understand your choice as a comprehensive platform across retailers because people would like to compare products across several shops. So let's see how this looks from a customer perspective. Customers are used to go shopping in the internet and compare products of several shops. And they also would like to do this for their food shoppings. So our personalized recommendation is highly demanded in this market. And this tackles our solution tackles this customer need. Retailers do not meet this need right now. Only Rewe has uploaded their product portfolio to their webpage, but even they don't provide information on a product level. So we see a shift in this industry right now happening towards a digitalization, especially due to this Corona crisis and platforms like GS1 and Atrify. Your choice would give them an additional opportunity to grow. They can meet a sustainable target group here and increase the sales of their sustainable products. And once we have traffic on this platform, advertisers would be interested to meet also this valuable customer group. Banks, for example, would like to get insights on people purchasing behavior, which we get out of the loyalty program, to name only one example. So let's have a look how big this market is which we are entering. We have 41 million households in Germany, and out of our survey, we got the number that there are 80% sustainable buyers and only 16% would use our app. So we did the math, and you can trust us, we end up at a total addressable market of 5.3 million users. For our serviceable addressable market, we took then 50%. We think we can gain such a high market share because there is no other platform like your choice in the market yet. And for our first year, our serviceable attainable market, we took 30% of the serviceable addressable market. This is our target group in the age group between 15 and 35, which is also including Linda. This means that we could have a potential user base of 1.5 million users in the first year. And this market is increasing rapidly. So we are at the beginning of this sustainable movement, and digitalization has just begun in the industry. Working now together with them and creating such a platform is the perfect timing. And our feature with the sustainable recommendation is just a perfect feature to go into the market with. This is a win-win-win situation for customers, retailers, and producers, advertisers. And this is also a winner-takes-it-all concept, since there is no need for such a second platform like this. The first one who opens up this platform gained potentially a high market share. So let's take a look into our next steps. Within the next weeks, we will, together with Atrify, determine the status quo and evolve our logic with them together. Then in Q3, we could start networking for potential partners and build our API from the database of Atrify into our application to automate the data flow. In Q4, we could then potentially onboard first partners and develop the app with our MVP. And then in Q1 of 2021, we could launch the first version of your choice. So this was an amazing journey, and as you can see, this might be the start of our next journey. So thank you, Futury, and thank you for all the corporate partners to make this happen. And yeah, we really appreciate your feedback.
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, team. How exciting. And I know you were waiting for the final call with GS1.
For weeks, yeah.
For weeks. So it was like that short to finally have that call to then discuss like potential next steps and what can be done. So I'm extremely happy to see that this kind of in a week now evolved like a lot. So fantastic. I'm very happy. Great stuff. Super cool. All right, then back to our question round. Do we have anybody in the, yeah, Heike we have, of course. Heike, if you grab that, fantastic, Mike.
Hello, is this on? Hello.
Bleib ruhig stehen.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations for the very, very perfect professional presentation. And you know, I'm a really fan of that app, and I'm of course the first user, and I'm really impressed what Vanessa just said already. What step you made in the last weeks, because you have tackled such a complicated problem, and lots of producers and food brands are already in that section and trying to find a solution, because I think we as a customer we have a very strong demand on that. So I'm really impressed. I'm really convinced if you are really committed to follow that idea, that I would be happy to further accompany you on that way, and I wish you all the luck. Yeah, I'm really impressed now, I must say.
Thank you
very much.
Great. Okay, one more. Two more. Fantastic. So over to Marcus, our key, also like corporate partner, being with you during that time.
Hey everybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So first of all, a big thank you to the team for the very enthusiastic pitch. You can really feel that you're really happy with your product, and you can be, because you tackled here, as Heike already said, a very complex topic. And looking back at your journey, where you started roughly 3 months ago, where we discussed different ideas on the whiteboard, to the pitch today is really an amazing journey and an amazing development that you have achieved here. So this is really great. I especially like how you make it work now, because you're thinking now about automation with the database. You have solved the scanning of the receipt. Yeah, so thinking really about not coming from the theoretical idea, but how to really bring it to life. So this is something I really like, and where you have made a massive push in the last few weeks. So this is really great. About the solution itself, I think this is tackling a real issue of the customers. And there I especially like that you tackle all angles of creating sustainability. So on the one hand, with different dimensions, so sustainability is not just environmental, it's also social. You have that you have the subcategories. So you're tackling really the whole sustainability topic end to end. This is very cool. And on the other side, you tackle all aspects of creating this sustainability. So starting with creating transparency about the information with a high relevancy for the customers because he can choose his preferences, and in the end creating a reward for positive behavioral change. This is really a very cool end-to-end solution that I think is highly interesting also for a retailer like us. And we're happy and looking forward to further cooperation and hopefully bringing it to life.
Thank you, Marcus. We also developed a prototype, which was not possible to show here in the pitch session, but we will demonstrate this later in the breakout sessions together with the corporate partners.
Fantastic. Okay, I think, Jannis, we have one more. Edu, exactly. Eduard, he also kind of supported your team very much as the counterpart from Deutsche Bank. So over to Edu.
So I think there was some technical issues. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first of all, thanks from my side for the very professional pitch too. Everything which Heike and Marcus said, I just can confirm. For me, it was very, very nice to see the development on the last weeks and months. In my opinion, you focused on the very relevant topics, which really have a USP compared to the competitors in the segment. And you remember all we talked in the last weeks, a lot of the big challenge that are in this to implement all these features. And so I am very happy to hear that you have in contact with GS1 and Artify. And I really hope that you get all the required support. So in addition, for my end, I just want to thank all of you guys for the cooperation in the last weeks. It was very fun for my end, and even we will stay and I'm sure that we will stay in touch. I wish you all the best for the next weeks and for your further talks with GS1 and Artify.
Thank you, Eddie.
Jannis, one more, or are we? Michael, yes. So over to Michael again.
Thank you also from my side. Congratulations to Niklas, Yasmin, and Hari for the presentation. And I can only add one thing, because the one thing was already addressed, that I was wondering how you tackle the challenge with the database. I'm really, really happy that you now found a partner, who could help you out in this, or to get a really good individual score for the consumers. Probably, as you stated in your presentation, that online shopping is also for the food market is rising. Probably we as bank could be integrated as platform, as payment platform as well. So probably this could be also a hint also for a next step or move. So thank you again, also from my side, and good luck.
Thank you, Michael.
Wow. Okay. That's it? Cool. So thank you again. Amazing work. Fantastic. I'm very happy. And I'm looking forward also for the breakout sessions. So we're ahead of time. Yes. So maybe, yeah. So we're ahead of time a few minutes, which I think is fine because we are kind of breaking now for lunch. So we have provided some lunch here in the Tech Quartier. For all the others, I wish you a good lunch break, and we'll hear back at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock we start off our live stream again, and then we have 2 more teams and a panel discussion and an outro. So we're looking forward to seeing you and hearing you back in again in about an hour. Thank you, guys. All right, so fantastic. We're happy that we are now starting our second round. There's 2 more amazing pitches, and I cannot wait to see and have the next team presenting, which is our former retirement team, which then moved into Impact Invest, and now it's called Impact for Real. And you will also, a little bit like in the education team, you will see a shift towards what was originally kind of presented 3 months ago and what the outcome is. But I'll promise you, you will be excited. So I'm handing over to Francisco to start off with Impact for Real in the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our final delivery. So today we have 5 topics to cover. I'll do a quick introduction, then go over the issue we're tackling. Then we're gonna go in depth into our solution, continue with our business case highlights, and finally the steps required for moving forward. So let's begin with our team. We're a group of diverse people coming out of 4 different countries, speaking 4 different native languages, with 4 different life stories. We are Alessandro, Francisco, Simon, and Yaprak. But we couldn't have done it without all of your collaboration. So big thank you to all of you for fitting us into your tight agendas, for having patience with our comings and goings. We felt very much supported along the way. And you play a huge part in our progress, so we really appreciate that. Throughout this 3-month journey, we bounced back and forth between ideas. It was very challenging for times, but our values remain constant. These have been at the underlying concepts always guiding us: sustainability, innovation, courage, open-mindedness, and relentlessness. So let's move forward to the next module and see what's the problem we're facing. Because as a society, we are behaving in such a way that future generations will have to deal with the consequences. Many scientists propose that human impact has triggered a new geological epoch, and that we are now living in the Anthropocene. And this is, we humans are the sole responsible for this, for altering nature cycles. Now, if you're one of those people who likes to bike to the office, to stay healthy, and to reduce carbon emissions, or likes to separate waste to help recycling and reduce pollution, or likes to donate time or money, or both, to help refugees, well, I'm sorry to tell you that well-intentioned, this is not enough. Because we, as a whole, for every good deed that we do, we undo them with negative ones. Dirty electricity to power our office, tons of unprocessed trash ending up in third world countries, supplying regimes around the world with weapons that ignite the wars. But who has the energy to always be helping, right? Well, we don't have time at our disposal, but we do have financial resources. And a great way to help is to direct those resources towards the completion by 2030 vision of the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, the UN. Because what we need to do is diversify our efforts, just like we will diversify our portfolios. In this graph, you can see the many sources of funding available in the market right now. And the SDGs require trillions of euros of investment. Now, in an ideal world, all of these would be aligned and directing towards achieving a promising future. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in one where a group of very reduced people control huge amounts of wealth. Nevertheless, retail investors are in control of their assets. That's us. We get to decide what are the guiding principles. We get to choose where to invest our savings. Profits? Yes, of course. But how about positive impact too? Because any farmer, any fisherman knows that resources are scarce by definition, whether it's labor, capital, or land. We don't live in a world where everything is infinite. So is it too much to ask that when a company takes, they don't destroy? So when they come back, there's more to take, and we can all benefit. But do people even care about this? Through other research, we learned that yes, they do, and very much so. 75% of Germans aged 18 to 35 would prefer sustainable investment, but only if yield is not forgone. This is from Zurich. It is a common concern for young people that we do things right, and we think about the consequences. Now, who is responsible for making the financial markets more sustainable? 57% of our respondents to our online survey, they agree that that is a group effort. This is very important because individuals are not in the sidelines, just pointing at others to find the solutions. They're very much involved. Now, financial markets, they're perceived as an environment which is complex, where only the powerful interact. You turn on the TV, and you see that the oil barrel or lending rates are trading at negative prices, and you don't even understand how that's possible. This is not ideal. We need that every person feels competent to use the market as a tool and not be afraid of it. Then is the misconception that only the rich can invest. Again, this is not true. Anybody can do it. You just need to find the right opportunity. Sustainability. That's also a bit confusing. There's no generic definition for it. What's the relationship between that and the financial markets? The connection is not straightforward, and it needs to be explained. Then, finally, sorry for that.
We have also a sound issue.
Oh, really?
You were muted.
I'm sending a recording. From the very beginning? Really? Yeah, you don't need to present everything. So how do we summarize or what? Can you skip? No, that's fine. Where's full screen? Kommst du mit dem Bild klar? Gut. Nicht drauf reagieren.
Okay, it was almost the end of my part of this. So, why is the digital option so important? Because it enables the user to act independently and with freedom. So cutting out the intermediaries that are not needed. So what's our proposal? To explain further, I now give it to Alessandro.
Thank you. Over now.
So according to our agenda, the third topic of the day regards our solution. This is impact for real. Our idea is to create a digital application in which retail clients can learn and find sustainable investments that generate a positive. This with the aim to bridge the gap between investment required to finance sustainable development and those activist individuals that with liquid assets sitting in bank accounts that want to contribute more than what they already do. Thereby, our mission is to enable people to invest their liquid assets and to see the role that they can have in financing sustainable growth throughout their sustainable investment decisions. Our digital application focuses on education, learning, clarity, and transparency to make the right choice. It is fundamental to understand that we're not attempting to be either brokers or advisors. This don't get caught in the regulatory aspects that concern these two activities, but instead to support investors to shift from their conventional portfolio to a more sustainable one. The solution specifically targets retail clients and non-institutional ones. After having highlighted the main concept idea, we can move forward in describing the building blocks that characterize our digital application. This is an educational feature explaining investment in general and the different sustainable asset classes. Here, the journey of our user will start by selecting the level of financial level throughout the four possible options: professional, intermediate, basic, and beginner. After the selection, the user will be displayed with dedicated learning modules covering a variety of topics, both on the sustainable side and the investment side. Additionally, the user will also be able to track the overall performance as well as the overall process of the learning modules. The second building block characterizing digital application refers to an asset list designed with the user values that compare investment portfolios. Here, the user will not only be able to display with value-based assets, but will also be able to compare one with the other. The peculiarity of this phase is that the data to be compared does not only focus on the financial, but also on the impact that these assets generate on both the environment and the society. Moving further, the third building block regards a gamification, where the user can build a virtual investment portfolio. Here, the user will be able, as mentioned, to build his virtual portfolio. If it still does not feel comfortable with process and actual investment, the overall goal of the user is to learn throughout experience, but most importantly, to don't burn his liquid assets and understand the market. The last block refers to a referral option to a financial broker. Once the user decides to invest, display sustainable assets. Here, the user will be displayed with a professional broker list where he will be given the choice to choose who finalizes his investment decision. After having highlighted our four building blocks characterizing our digital solution, moving forward according to our agenda, the fourth topic we cover today regards our business case. Here, we will cover four main topics. These are the customer segment, the value proposition, the key partners, and the revenue stream. Starting with the customer segment, our digital application focuses on non-linear retail clients that are value-driven and ready to take action, that sustainability has a role in life, that have an ability to save money, and that are willing to invest. Moreover, as previously mentioned, we're not attempting to be either brokers or advisors. Therefore, we act as an intermediary between the asset managers and the brokers. We connect brokers with the already informed clients that are ready to finalize their investment decisions. To mention some potential figures relevant to our user base, it can be stated that starting from a very broad perspective, considering people over 18-year-old, we then narrow it down the available market, where 63% of the households in Germany claimed and stated that they have the availability of saving money. This considering an average of 2 people per household. In the qualified market, we then exclude those who already own financial securities, focusing on those people that are not investing at the moment and have no financial holdings. Finally, we arrive at the people that are interested in sustainable investments, and this is a total addressable market of 3 million people in Germany. After having highlighted our potential user, let's now mention what value we actually deliver. We enable to create an impact throughout strategic investment decisions by educating the customer on investment and providing transparency related SDG-focused investment options. This by helping the customer to reduce the lack of knowledge toward the investment topic by providing the learning to create a clear picture of where the money goes by showing the impact of their investment, and to help the customer be more sustainable. This by providing an alternative way to access sustainable, and by stressing the role that the financial topic can have towards the sustainability. Furthermore, the third aspect characterizing our business case refers to who are our key partners. These are data aggregators to provide the sustainability data of the funds, asset managers to provide insight of the funds, and content creation partners to provide educational content and learning aspects. Finally, we arrive at the revenue stream. How do we monetize our solution and generate a profit out of it? This will be done throughout broker fees, where fees will be generated when a user is directed to a broker. Two ways of doing this, or by charging the customer for a connection with the broker, or by charging the broker for every click, investment, customer gained throughout our application. With advertisement, where the educational feature could have advertisement of related concepts, such as e-learning books, e-learning platform, or online courses on sustainable investments. And by a fair pay option. This is an innovative approach that enables the user to have a full access to the app, enabling at the end of the experience a voluntary contribution upon the customer's satisfaction. Furthermore, we are currently considering offering a subscription-based payment account, which includes additional access to the educational content, as well as additional in-depth market data. Before further continuing, let me now thank once again all of the corporates, the experts consulted, Futury, for the valuable insights and support provided throughout these 3 months. It has been an amazing journey, and trust me, we all know how intense this has been. But we are finally happy to stand at the point we are right now. And more importantly, we have finally understood what are the biggest question marks relative to our idea. We are very much forward in tackling them. Therefore, according to our agenda, the last topic we cover today regards what are our next steps in our journey. Phase 1 will be characterized by validating our main hypotheses that are still outstanding on both the asset list and the business model. To then refine the concept based on this validation. At this stage, the team should be able to cover both internally with the collaboration of external collaborations, experts such as business developer, data analyst, ESG portfolio expert, and an analyst, as well as an UX design. Phase 2 will be characterized by the development of the solution to more detail and by constant testing the solutions. This because our digital application will be created in a natural way, as well as to secure the found and the partnerships. Phase 3 will then be characterized by piloting the solution in the market, as well as starting to build our first customer base. In this phase, a strong market access will help and will support both the piloting and the growth of the app. Lastly, phase number 4 is characterized by scaling the solution up. This by increasing the number of securities as well as the numbers involved in our solution. We have now covered the topics of our journey for today. With this, thank you very much for your attention. We're looking forward to your comments and feedback. Thank you.
Wow, does this work? Yeah, perfect, good. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Francisco. Thank you, Yaprak and Simon and the rest of the team. You were mentioning it. I think this was like a real journey. This was a long, heavy journey. But as we mentioned yesterday already, I think with an amazing outcome. I mean, for those who participated in the last 3 months and have seen all different ideas and backs and forth, and now the final solution, I think this is quite impressive. So amazing. Okay, also feedback. So I'm sure we have someone here from the audience who would like to give feedback. I'm looking at Eike. Maybe you can take the mic there, Eike. Over to you. I think it's, can you? Yeah. Can you try again, like the red one? Okay, 1 second.
Okay, next try.
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. So big thanks to all 4 of you, 2 in the whatever over the camera. You did a great job. Great job. That's the word. First of all, this was a great presentation. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the analysis. We kind of like to forget too fast about what you're working on and why you're doing this. And the solution you came up with, just having a look at the first idea and the outcome now, this is just great. And you did a tremendous job. So I'm kind of sorry that we couldn't like help you more, but this was due to the close down of Corona. But I hope if you go ahead, we stay in contact and try to help you and protect, supply your ideas. So thanks, and yeah. Thank you.
I see Thomas. You can leave it on, Eike. I see Thomas over there from Deutsche Bank who would like to add something as well.
Do you hear me? Yeah. It's funny, we were at the lunch break, we were talking about that sustainable finance lacks visualization of the impact. And there you are, showing us where funds could go and what this actually does in terms of having positive effects. And I'm really stunned by your visualization, because on sustainable finance, there is very poor visualization to date about what investments can actually do. So I'm really kind of baffled that this was right at the start of your presentation, showing what it is about and actually closing the loop on not just the CO2 topic, but on strategic development goals. So I think this is a really good presentation, and it's tremendous progress from the interim pitch, where the visualization was actually a bit crude, but now it's spot on. Yeah. So. Well, I think you found a sweet spot, right? The problem in Germany is that the Germans don't like to invest in the stock market, but maybe they become more interesting about investment when they see that their funds can actually do something and that they don't forgo revenue. Yeah, so I think this is the sweet spot you need to look at, and you should be well sought after by asset managers and by banks alike, who appreciate having an educated customer already before they go into the formal discussion around investments. So I think it's really an interesting concept, and I think you'll be seeing lots of people in the next weeks. Happy to help.
Yeah, thank you very much. And indeed, that's actually what we are aiming for. So visualizing the impact throughout that the customer could gain in his investment decision. So that's how we're focused. So thanks.
Thanks, Thomas. So I guess I'm looking over to Janus, yeah? Helen, of course. Helen from also Deutsche Bank, who supported extremely well the team from the beginning. So we'd like to hear Helen.
Yeah, so I hope you can hear me now. Do you hear me?
Can you say something?
Yeah, but I guess you don't hear me.
We do.
Ah, we do? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Cool, perfect, so that it works out. So yeah, actually I don't have any questions today. I just wanted to provide some feedback also to the team. So, and without repeating what what the others have already said, but I think you can be really enormous proud of you, of all the four of you. So what you've achieved during the last 3 months, because I think you had a tremendous learning journey, and I'm also super proud and happy that I was able to accompany you during these 3 months period. So I think you've came across various different challenges. So you had in the beginning some uncertainty concerning your topic, concerning the idea. Then you made the pivot of the idea. So basically really what startups usually also tend to do. And yeah, I think like every time you got out of it in a more mature way, and you really found your way. And I'm also super happy about the idea and the current status of it, because I think you've really found something where there is still a spot in the market, an empty spot, and yeah, a solution which probably will tackle a customer need, so which is really valid and worth thinking it forward and continuing working on it. So yeah, once again, I think you did a really great job. Be proud of yourself, celebrate it a little bit today. I'm super sorry that I cannot be over in the tech quartier today, but as always, when working together with Futury, the digital infrastructure works almost perfectly. So I'm happy that I can at least join via the audio channel. And yeah, so I'm also super curious to then see how your idea might progress in the future, and how things are going forward. So, but as of today, thanks a lot for your presentation, your effort, and yeah.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you very much.
One more, Janus, or? I'm waiting for Michael, of course, yes. Auf Michael ist Verlass.
Hello, Alessandro, hello, Francisco, and hello, team. Thank you also from my side. I was really surprised about the progress you made during the last weeks or months, because the results we see today, or the presentation, was really a progress, I have to say. Because you are the closest, or your topic was the closest to the financial industry, and that showed you also that it's not an easy task to tackle. That's what we are tackling every day, more or less. So you see our complex world of the finance industry, and also from the client perspective, we have a lot of barriers. They could be from the investment side, but also from the sustainable side. We know that those barriers are really, really hard to overcome. And I think this guide that you just provided here will help our clients in the future, or even a lot of clients in the future, in their decision-making process. So thank you very much also for the brokers and the idea that you created here. And I think it's also unique, because I haven't seen something like this in the market so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Janus, anything more, or that's it? Perfect. Wow. I mean, this was all for you, right? Well done, guys. And also, of course, a big thank you also to Yaprak and Simon, who can't be here today. So, and hopefully they can join at least our mental celebration maybe later on with some FaceTime or whatever. That would be cool. All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, so last team, we're getting ready and setting up for our last team for today.
So you go into your pitch, maybe wait for a signal from my side. If it's like after like half a minute, still there.
Okay.
We hope we fixed it.
Okay.
Then maybe stop or just continue with the whole pitch, right? And like give you a signal. And maybe start. So if it doesn't work, yeah, but assume now it works.
Okay, good. Over to the Budge team. I'm looking forward.
Yes, hello everyone. Also welcome from my side, everyone who is joining digitally and who can be here in Tech Quartier today. It's really nice to see a few of you at least here joining us. And I'm today representing Team Consumption, also known as Team Budge. And my name is Naima, and Budge, what we do is we challenge people to turn sustainable thoughts into sustainable actions. Have you ever set a goal for yourself, or perhaps a New Year resolution to become more active, to do more sports? And have you ever failed to accomplish this goal? Well, do not worry, you are not the only one. In fact, 9 out of 10 Germans do not stick to their resolution. Reality kicks in and we just can't manage to change our behavior. So behavioral change is difficult, and oftentimes it needs some trigger and some support along the way. Speaking about the example of running, we can learn that this support may be to do the activity in a community and see that also others are joining in. Or it might be to set oneself a goal, for example, a competition to work towards. So you have something in mind that you want to achieve. People need a trigger to keep up with their goals and achieve them. And we, as Budge, want to be that trigger for people that aim to act more sustainable in their lives. So in the following presentation, I want to walk you through, again, the problem that we are targeting to turn sustainable thoughts into sustainable actions, then present the solution that we have come up, including our live programmed prototype that I'm really proud to present today, and then go into market and business model that Nicholas will lead through, and he will also guide you through our competitors, roadmap, and teams, and our team. So looking at the problem, in a survey from Deutsche Bank Ideenlabor, as well as our own survey with 200 responses, we found that around 82% of people say it is important for them to be sustainable. They aim to act sustainable. This could be to, for example, use a reusable bag when you go shopping, or to go by bicycle whenever possible. On the other hand, there are only 14% that say that they already act in a sustainable way. So of course, there's a lot of nice things, for example, to eat meat in this case, which is of course triggering you to, in the end, to continue with this, doing this. So there is a huge gap between the goal, I want to act more sustainable, and the reality that shows. What we want to do with Budge, we want to align the goal with the reality. In the next step, I want to talk you through the sub-problems. So why is there such huge gap that we have found? There are 3 issues that we have identified in our surveys and also in our qualitative interviews that we conducted along the process. 70% of people say one reason is the comfort zone, which we already mentioned. It's just difficult to integrate sustainable actions into daily life. Taking up new actions is perceived as uncomfortable, as something negative oftentimes. Secondly, there is a lack of support, which means that, for example, other Germans are perceived to not act in a sustainable way. So why should I do that? Or it can be even more personal, that my family or friends are not really onto the sustainable mindset. So it's difficult for me to change my behavior and be judged by them. The third part is the misinformation and also lack of information. 65% of respondents say it's unclear to them which products are actually sustainable and how they could change their behavior in a simple way. So how do we now solve with Budge these problems? First, looking at the comfort zone. We want to bring people out of their comfort zone through offering them the core feature of our app, fun challenges. We have fun sustainability challenges, which are a gamified approach to the whole thing. This could, for example, be challenges in the field of consumption, finance, or waste. So I'm able to choose a challenge that fits to me and that I want to take on.
As an example, it could be a challenge to bring the coffee from home or to go with bicycle to work. We then also show the impact that this action has, and the user can, before he takes on the challenge, get an impression of the impact. The second part is the lack of support. We want to turn this into community. Leaderboards allow users to compare themselves to others, but also to see that they are not the only ones taking an effort, but that other people are active as well. In the future, we will add also team functionalities. This means that you can join teams together with friends or colleagues, and together as a joint effort see what is your total impact and how do you proceed. Thirdly, we want to turn misinformation into insights. We do this mainly in two ways. The first one is when you look closer into a challenge, such as the daily coffee to go challenge. It will give you some tips, but also it will give you some hints on the sustainable impact that this challenge will have. And we are aware that this cannot always be super accurate, or that maybe the CO2 footprint is easier to know when you think of the car compared to when you think of the coffee cup. But we want to give an impression so that people can understand, yes, whatever I do, it has an impact. The second element when it comes to insights is that we give simple tips to users, actions that they can easily implement in daily life. For instance, to take a navy shower, to switch off the water while they put shampoo and soap. Many of you guys might already do that. So if this is the case, the tips are personalized to you, and they will become more and more difficult. So now I would like to lead you through our prototype, and for this I will switch to the web browser. So here it's important to notice this is already programmed. We did this with the intention in mind that we can continue building on top of it afterwards. And you will find that perhaps not all of the things are yet looking exactly like the designs, but they're at least working for now. So let's see. So here we see our landing page. Now imagine I have started to use the app Budge recently, and I have already taken on 3 challenges. A challenge to go digital, which means I cancel all my paper letters that I receive, being vegan for a week, and the daily coffee to go challenge that I previously mentioned. Now what I can do, I say, oh, nice, today I have actually eaten vegan. So when I open the app, I can just click it, and I will should see that my streak increases here. This motivates me to keep streaks. This is something that is worked with a lot, for example, also in learning apps. When you learn every day, your streak increases, and we want to use the same gamification approach for the activities. I could also say I want to get inspired and I want to take on more challenges now. There are 2 ways. This is the page that also a new user will see. You can get inspired by trending challenges. These are challenges that already other users take on and like. So on the phone, this of course is the phone view in the future. You can swipe through and get inspired from different options. Secondly, below we see the tip of the day that I can rate. For example, bike by stuff, that also local. I don't like this tip. Carry a reusable non-plastic grocery bag. I like this tip. So it continues, and it will in the future be more and more personalized to you. Now let's say that I would like to take on another challenge because I'm highly motivated. We found in our user interviews that challenges need to be personalized, and people need to be able to select what they want to do. As an example, if I'm already vegetarian, I should take on a vegan challenge. But if I'm eating a lot of meat, for instance, I maybe want to try vegetarian first. Let's 3 to 4 days a week. So we also customize it to different levels. For instance, in the Take Your Bike to Work challenge, I can then see how many other people have already joined. In the future, if desired by users, they can also share their profile, so people can actually see who is it that is there. Also, an important part is that users collect green points. This is what we already showed earlier to appear on the leaderboard, but also to later turn these green points into discounts. For example, for sustainable clothing brands, you can then turn these points that you have collected into discounts. When I'm on this challenge, I can also read why it matters if I want to know more, and can receive some more tips, such as biking to work is good for your health. So you also know it's good for other things that you are doing. And here we see the estimated impact, depending on how long you take, and the money that you will save through the activity. And this is a way to put the difficulty, a simple way to personalize. I can first try it out for 1 week, or I can do it for 2 weeks or 1 month. So if I join the challenge, I get an explanation how it works. I will immediately start collecting green points by joining in the challenge. And if I keep streaks, then I get more points. Like this, I'm motivated to stay longer in the app. And now it is active, and as you can see here, it has appeared. And also here I can now follow my progress. Okay, this was all from the prototype, so I will go back to the presentation. Yes, and Niklas will later tell you more about the features which are still now missing and which we still have to develop. And I would now also like to hand over to Niklas, who will tell you more about the business part.
Hello? Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Naima. Now I have the hard burden after the fun prototype to talk you through dry numbers. But actually, I have exciting news. The market for sustainability is rising on an annual rate of 25%. That's good news for us. 325 million people are sustainable minded and smartphone users. Out of that market potential in Europe, 75 million would use a sustainable app such as Budge. As there are also competitors in that market, we derive that we can take a target market size of 25 million users. When we go to the details of how this market size would split up, we see two segments, the B2B market and the B2C market. When we talk about the B2B market, we think about corporates and contract and partnership with them. When we mean contract, we say we go into the corporate and talk about that inside of the corporate, people and employees can take on challenges and together create a big impact. The partnership is that in our app, you can, as a corporate, place ads and advertise in challenges. That way, the user on the B2C market can see ads, and through that, we can earn money on that side. Further than that, also users can donate money, and we can take a transparent share of that. If we go into more detail, out of this 25 million market potential in users, we derive that we can earn 160 million in revenues, split up into B2B and B2C. The number 24 euro per user subscription means that we run a 3-month project inside of a corporate and charge 8 euro for each user. And at the B2C market, we in research found that you can earn 3.50 euro per 1,000 views on ads for users. As mentioned before, there are competitors, but good news, they are not yet in the European market. So the only thing that we can actually see here is that what we want to do already works in different markets, and therefore there's a high potential that this will also work here in Europe. Especially as the European market will be the second largest sustainable market in the world. Besides the competitors you can see, they are common with us in community and in sustainability, but what they don't have, which is our USP, and what we found in our user testing and interviews, is that we have educational insights and transparency. So we actually show more and teach while they use the app. That is what users want and our special USP. If we now take a look at our roadmap and further to develop features, we want to finish our MVP in June. By then, we also plan to start in September to pilot inside of a corporate. For that, we would need to set up team features, meaning that one can join teams or create teams on their own. Also, inside of the corporate, there should be a person who can manage whatever our coder now does inside of the corporate with a master account. And then another key thing, as we want to be a trustworthy platform, we want to build up more privacy settings and security. Then inside, looking at the corporate pilot phase, we talk about September to end of the year. And in that phase, we will probably learn so much that we just want to keep up the agile working and iterations and learn and adapt in that phase. As we want to launch on the 1st of January with the New Year's resolutions of people, we want to also build up a marketing strategy. And as we heard previously, maybe we can help people to stick to them now. Then, in the public launch phase, after we launched, we want to further develop in the features of sponsored challenges, meaning that the corporates can place their challenges, and the green rewards and donations also that the customer can donate into sustainable projects. Further than that, another feature that we have in mind is a green shop, meaning that you can transfer the green points that you have earned into, for example, a voucher to get a discount inside of a supermarket or other stores. Okay, and now here's the important part. Where do you as corporates come in and where do we need your help? As we had such a great speed in this project and we really want to keep that up, and we really think that we can together create something big, we need your mentoring and expertise throughout this mission. We directly want to start right after this mission with you together and work on this vision. For that, we would also need some financial support. Then, talking about the corporate pilot phase, we would want you as corporates to be one of the pilot partners. But potentially there can also be others, obviously. In the public launch phase, we want to implement other corporates also, as said before, as the partners that they can be a challenge giver. Or another idea in our mind is that we can direct people to a company when they want to invest into green projects or green funds, that we can then lead them to one of our partners. Okay. And why us? Why would you as corporates want to be directly with us? First of all, when doing something sustainable, you will create green and sustainable publicity when running such a project with a Budge app or similar. Then you can, inside of the corporate, create a positive overall working environment because the people inside of the company work together towards one common goal, and this is more sustainability. And with this thought in mind, the whole corporate culture will then also change towards a more sustainable one. This is a key part because that can also attract on the long run further potential employees, because more and more sustainability-minded people will exist in the future. And then probably we can also talk even about further law restrictions that will come in the future that we can help you to reach. But obviously there are also monetary benefits for you when you start with us in the pilot phase, that we can then say, as we build up a whole platform where you can place ads, that you can need to charge, that we charge you less for ads that you place there. And as we will have a big platform, you can create a big impact through that. Also, in that part, we can talk about something I forgot, but that we can address later in our panel discussion in the breakout session. Okay, the biggest asset is actually you will get us as a team. When we ask the corporates, why would you want to further work with us, like especially us, empathy, creativity, and open-mindedness of us as a team were the most important words. And therefore, it is now the great pleasure for me to present my amazing team. First of all, I want to point out Naima, who also was on stage with me in the co-speaking. She was the UI and UX designer in this project and led through all the user interviews and user testings and designed the whole prototype. And with her experience in startups, she was really the heart of our team. Then we have Kwang. He is our software developer and who put all the designs Naima created into the code and the prototype you've just seen on live on stage. He, with his skills in Java and Python programming, programmed a code that you can actually easily enhance further on. And the top right, Mridur, is our business strategist who researched the market for competitors and user needs and also came up with the financial drafts and market potential that I've presented to you now. And then last, there's me, Niklas. I took over the project lead and mainly was responsible for the communication internally, externally, and administrative tasks, and helped actually on wherever I could do. But only together we made this work. Together, even in that such difficult times which are behind us, we as a team managed to present you a live prototype on stage. And together with you as corporates in the future, we can actually make this vision come true. We can make this planet Earth more sustainable, and we can accomplish the mission, banking be green. And last but not least, we can maybe even accomplish the mission to get you to stick to your New Year's resolutions. Thank you very much. Okay, before you take over the mic, I would just like to take the chance to direct the applause directly back to you as Futury, as the corporates, as everybody, and also the other teams who have been with us in this great journey. We as a team are extremely honorable, and so it was such a great project, and we are so, I don't know how to say it, but we just want to say a big thank you to all of you, to Futury who offered this platform, to the corporates who were constantly engaging with us, proactively coming to us, constantly in contact with us, setting up meetings, and then also to the other teams, a great thank you for you, for all of your input to everything that we were able to present. Thank you.
Oh. Now I'm getting very emotional as well. Oh, Niklas. I come to my thank you round later on, but I mean, I'm very, what I like a lot, I mean, I've seen, of course, we've seen the slides, we worked on we've done the pitch rounds and everything in the last days, but I like very much how you kind of changed the format a little bit and with all these wonderful pictures and also the story around New Year resolutions and changing. So fantastic, like really, really cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good, yeah. Okay, to be consistent, feedback, and I'm straight away looking to Heike Gerhard from Deutsche Bank, who also kind of supported the team amazingly. You were kind of the pate over the last weeks and months and totally engaged, so I definitely would like to give you some.
Thanks, Vanessa, and thanks, Niklas, Naima, and the whole team for such a great support, great presentation today. And I think I mentioned it already several times that you are really an amazing team. I think from the right from the beginning, I mean, you had a very clear idea, and you had, you just started off, and you had a vision, what you want to achieve, and I think you're really entrepreneurial. As a team, and I'm really happy that you already decided to go on with the idea and to stick as a team. And every support, any support we can give you, be it a pilot or be it further working with you and accompanying you, yes, we're happy to. And I'm really proud to be to have accompanied you in your journey. And I think you made the best out of this program. And at that stage as well, big thanks to Futury, to Vanessa, to Yannis, and also to Bain, to Anne and Johanna, who have really made the best out of this program and supported you even during Corona time. So really, thank you.
Thank you, Heike.
Okay, yeah, of course, Mr. Tim.
The biggest fan is Heike, to be honest. And yesterday she gave me a call that we have to go to our CFO to ask him to get money for you. And so I will go with Heike together and hopefully with Manfred's help. So fingers crossed, because I understood that you want to come together, you want to stick together, and that's great. And hopefully we can convince as well our chief financial officer for it. So fingers crossed for it. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Great
Thank you.
start.
Thank you. I have to say I'm counting for Michael, but maybe there's someone else. Hang on, Thomas, we have Thomas here, so I'll give it to the audience. So Thomas, I'm also counting on Thomas as always.
Better, right? The question is, how do you overcome habits for a good cause, right? And why not use technology to help you through your old habits? And I liked your first picture, right? You have a grand plan of becoming a runner, and in the end, you end up in front of your TV screen. It's quite, I think it happens quite often. And so what I really like is beyond morale again. It's visualizing, it's entertaining, right? To start changing your habits in small steps. You don't have to become vegan, but you could become vegetarian. It would already be a progress, right? So I think it's scalable, and I think it is really enticing to corporates. Corporates have a function typically which is called betriebsärztlicher Dienst, and it is as ugly as it sounds. And I think with that app you can actually do something with your employee population, right? It could have different facets. It could have food and challenges, could have health. So I think it's a good modern vehicle of taking care of your population, not only for corporates, but also for everyone, basically. So I look forward how this evolves, and I shall be one of your first customers.
I'm pretty sure you will.
Thank you to the Deutsche Bank team, and sadly the Kaufland digital team cannot be here, but also thanks to you for all your support, especially to Marcus and Sophie, who have also supported us way through this project with various touch points and all the support that we actually needed. So I don't know if you there. Oh, he's a
Here
question.
we go. So Marcus, is it Marcus? Yes, before we go to Michael.
Hi, this is Marcus. Thanks a lot for your thank you, but also vice versa. Thanks a lot for the great pitch and of course this great idea. And I can only agree with everybody else. So for me, you had from the beginning a very clear and good idea, but many people have good ideas, and what I see is a very strong point within your team is that you were able throughout the last 3 months to really bring it to life. Yeah, so to really operationalize it, so that we have now here this great solution, even if it's only a prototype. But this is something that I really admire. Yeah, so a strong team, great UX and design of the app, great business logic behind. So I really am very confident that this will be a successful product. And we are, of course, happy to support as a corporate partner if you're ready to test it in a bigger group. So thanks a lot, and all the best for the team.
Thank you. It's difficult. I don't know where to look at when somebody is virtually speaking.
Helen?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get that. Yeah. So I do fully agree with what the others have already said, but I also wanted to stress 2 points which I was super flashed. So first of all, and I think it belongs somehow to my experience of what I'm doing within Deutsche Bank. So we are so frequently in touch with startups and young companies and try to evaluate them and try to grasp whether their business model is sustainable or not, or whether it's valid or not. And what I really find so remarkable about what you've done and what your team has achieved in the last 3 months is is first of all really your team. So your degree of professionality is really amazing. And today's pitch was just one proof more in line of lots of proofs which you've showed already, that you together as a team, you are really one of the key resources of your and behind your idea. So please stick together and try to push forward your idea in the way you are currently structured. And second, what I really liked a lot also about your pitch today was your roadmap, right? So you have a very clear understanding of where you think your solution should go next. It's super transparent, so even for someone from the outside, it's very understandable. You can really outline pretty in-depth what should be the next steps, how you want to approach from having it ready to piloting it with a partner and then bringing it live and launching it. So that's something I found really amazing, and I think it's the right step and the right direction to go into. And I cross my thumbs and wish you all the best luck to proceed with your idea. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So now Michael, huh? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Michael, kannst du uns hören?
Okay. Niklas, Naima, thank you for the presentation and the whole team as well. I'm really flashed too, I have to say, and I'm not sure if you know what you there created. You have like a kind of magic tool in your hands that turns like a mindset awareness into action. This is something that also from our marketing perspective, we are very keen to integrate in our solutions. So I'm really, really looking forward to go on with this idea. And I'm already flashed about your really, really good prototype as well. So thank you a lot. I'm looking forward to continue this work together, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Janis, I think finished. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you guys very much. Fantastic. All right, we're not stopping with the thank yous because now we are moving on, and this is quite important for us and for me in person. I come to this, but we now have, yes, Johanna, we now have Walter Sinn with us from Bain & Company. And as I was mentioning at the beginning, Bain & Company is one of our key initiators of the mission. And when we started this, I think no one had an idea how this could be developed and how positively that working relationship could go. And Bain is with us now in the second round and the second vision. And I have to say, I mean, come to my thank you, but it really proved super well to have Bain and the team with us. And I think I can speak also for the others, for the teams who experienced Bain and their support and coaching during the last 3 months. And also, so I think it was very important for me to also have Walter with us, Walter Sinn with us from Bain & Company, to give a few words on the teams, on the program itself, and give his insights.
With pleasure. Can you hear me? Or
I think we'll hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
And also see me? I'm not sure.
Partially.
Partially. Well, anyhow, thanks, Vanessa, for those nice words that I can give back in terms of great cooperation. But let me start to simply say wow at this moment in time. I followed the pitches on the live stream, and I must say I was deeply impressed for all teams, and by the content that has been worked out so far, but also the passion and the performance on stage. And looking back how we started with Banking Be Green, I well remember the initial discussions, the kickoff that we had at the Frankfurt School of Finance, already inspiring, already some nice ideas on the table, but amazing progress made until today. And I want to first say congrats to all the teams, first for your creativity. By the way, starting with the very interesting names from GreEnFin to Drive and Save, your choice, impact for real, Budge, but ultimately for the creativity in developing the solutions, obviously even more important. Say congrats also for your agility, because when looking back, I remember there's been quite an amazing development of the ideas. Some, let me call it rather evolutionary, and some really revolutionary in the sense of you cannot recognize the initial idea anymore. So a lot of speed and agile, working mode. But I ultimately would like to congratulate you most for what I would call your passion, your persistence, and your team play. In times that have been, I know, tough, Corona has come over us in the last 2 months, and you have switched to a more virtual collaboration mode. Not an easy one, really not an easy one, but it has worked out really well. So congrats. And let me maybe use Corona and this point to just make some more general statements on what we see currently in the market and discuss with our clients and engage with our clients on is, yes, it is for sure a crisis that we have not seen, also not in the last 2 crises. It touches society, it touches economy, it touches individual companies very much. And I can tell you that, of course, during these days, most companies are first and foremost focusing on crisis management. So what we consultant-wise would call act now on business continuity, act now on keeping all employees safe, but also thinking in scenarios. Also very important, tackling crisis issues like liquidity, avoiding bankruptcy. Cash is king in these days. So that's what we observe on the one hand. On the other hand, it is those who are strong, those who think about the future, are already in a plan now mode. So are thinking beyond the curve. Things around taking structural obstacles out. This is now the time. Things about what does the whole thing from globalization towards potentially a more regional perspective means for production footprints, for supply chains. So very strategic topics. Last not least, also issues around market consolidation, M&A. And here I come to the point. But what stays also very strategically at the forefront of all thoughts is sustainability. That has not changed. I can see even there will be tailwind in the sense of even more companies putting that on top of the agenda, even more companies understanding that they can differentiate with new products and services here around, which is obviously very important and tells us that with sustainability we are spot on with the mission. I think that's important to keep in mind. By the way, I should also add I'm confident that when now talking about state aid or governmental supported recovery programs, that there will also be a focus on sustainability. So reinforcing regulation, reinforcing CO2 issues. I very much hope that goes along with recovery programs and respective investments. So tailwind. The mission, I would say, is spot on. And one sometimes says it takes a village to come to a real transformational change. Our village is obviously this community, this ecosystem of partners here around that has, I think, very well cooperated over the last months. And Banking Be Green is again an initiative I think we can all be a little bit proud and all be very happy, with the impact that can be derived from different initiatives. So I would like to close by thanking this village of this ecosystem of partners. Again, first and foremost, the teams. Great ideas, push them forward. Please keep your passion for sustainability and keep your entrepreneurial spirit with your ideas or beyond, and I'm sure you have a great impact in the future. I would also like to thank the corporate partners. It was great to see that your support remained vital also in terms of crisis and in these challenging days. It was great to see how much you engaged and supported the teams. And I would say innovation sometimes hurts. Sustainability sometimes hurts on corporate agendas. So let me ask all of you to keep on pushing the boundaries for sustainability in your respective companies. And last not least, getting back to my starting point and replying to Vanessa, I would really like to thank also the mission, Holger, Charlie, Vanessa, and the whole team for having set that up. We certainly are looking forward for continuing to cooperate, continuing to work together in, I would call it also not only a partnership, but a friendship. And we certainly count, all of us, very much on you for the future. So a big thank you. And I would say in these days, stay safe and healthy. And last not least, I would wish all of us and all of you still inspiring discussions in this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Walter. That's great. Okay, good. So now we are at the panel discussion. So we would like to have a little discussion with the corporates and the teams. We're going to do this in a separate way because of distance. So we're going to have the corporate discussion first. And our host will be, or our moderator will be Charlie Müller from Futury. And we're bringing up on stage Eike from Zurich and Thomas from Deutsche Bank. So, mics. How many do we need? One more. I think we need one more. Where's the third one? The third mic.
So I'll come a little closer, but still staying like 1.5 meters. Is that working too? Yeah, perfect. So yeah, thank you for joining here on the stage. But as we have our participants also from the corporate partners in the Zoom meeting, so please join our discussion. Just raise your hand, and then Janus, so to say, will let you in the discussion for questions, for comments, for remarks, and we will start here on the stage first. So Thomas, starting with you, like now we have experienced 3 months of the program. Just like in no particular order, what were your main highlights of the project when you're looking back to the 3 months?
First of all, when we started, the title was Green Banking, and I was actually scared that, are we going to deliver green banking? And I was quite vocal about it. And the truth is, we have actually surpassed green banking. It is beyond green banking, but it includes banks. Because all of what I've seen today and what the teams have been working on together with the corporates and supported by Bain is raising the awareness of consumers and shaping the ability of consumer to make informed choices that will benefit banks, that will benefit retailers, it will benefit the environment, of course. So what has been created is beyond banking, but I think that banks are well positioned to present, perhaps in the near future, at least some of the banks that I happen to know better than others, a CO2 balance to clients, i.e. all of the behavioral change that will happen over time with consumers will eventually lead to a reduced personal CO2 balance. And it would be great if banks can present that. So this is something where all of what has been worked on will be beneficial. But on my key takeaways, I think, first of all, the way you've selected the participants, the talents, the way you have done the matchmaking of the teams, I think that is truly exceptional. That was beyond my expectation and experience, I have to say. And then secondly, how you've adjusted in the crisis to a remote model, which has developed its own qualities. It's not just a kind of an emergency reaction. It goes way beyond an emergency reaction. I think you could now work globally with ease. So I think this is really remarkable. And these are takeaways that I find very impressive. So yeah, you've actually helped banks by shaping consumer preferences. It will only happen over time, but we need to enable it.
We very much like to hear that. Did we also help insurances within the project, Eike?
The ideas developed so far, and the results are very, very good. But let me make one more point. I always insisted on the business cases during the pitches, and all of you really came up with business cases that can actually work. I think this is very good, great outcome. Congratulations.
Oh, is it working, or we just exchanged? Then you just take mine. Test, test. Ah, no, it's working. Perfect. Good. So Thomas, you said it's beyond banking, but looking, especially the question to you, for the Deutsche Bank as a global bank, will it also help you in your core business? Do you see any use cases within the bank from what you learned about maybe new target groups, young people, how they look on sustainability? You talked about, you called it a visualization of sustainability. Will it also help for your core business?
It's always a challenge to integrate such an innovation cycle with a traditional core business, but it is possible. And I think what the consumer research has shown here is that there are ways that a bank can become attractive again to younger customer base. There are certain segments where we haven't focused on in the past, but we need them. I think for insurance, probably similar. And I think this is going to help becoming in tune with what the target audience actually needs or is looking after. And we have some homework to do. And this was actually a quick start in this direction. I'm not saying we're not doing the homework at all, but I think it was an accelerator. The challenge is now, how are we going to leverage this? So I see us as ambassadors of the ideas in our corporations and beyond our corporations.
Yeah, and then maybe the next question to you, Eike. We heard all the teams that were planning ahead for the next 6 months or 12 months. Could you imagine for you as the Zurich Versicherung insurance company, do you have in mind some ideas which we could really think of working on with them, in which form to be decided later, but are there interesting topics that you want kind of integrate or participate?
Definitely. We have to make a bigger picture out of it, and scale up some of the ideas to our business models. The advantage for the mission teams is that they're in contact with a couple of bigger corporate partners, so we can test out some of the ideas. I mean, our investment ideas, when we had the kickoff meeting, the next day, Zurich, DWS, and Deutsche Bank wanted to have a press conference and tell their ESG models to the public. So we didn't do it yet because of the Corona crisis, but the investment is out there and still to come. And the next things are like Budge and stuff like that, or the driving things that we can easily connect to our company.
Yeah. All right, thanks. And besides the results and maybe the further way for the teams together with you, coming back to your personal experience during the 3 months, we had a time with intense and also on-site collaboration here, but then also Corona. So how was that besides your normal daily running business? I think this project is kind of a little unusual from what you do normal in your operational business. So Thomas, how was it? Challenging, good, fun, stressful?
I had to fight for space to have the time, but I got it. And in the end, I think it was, we were quite flexible in finding the meeting times, right? Also, our offices are quite close. So for me, it wasn't a big challenge to integrate the support of the teams with my daily schedule. It was more getting the initial approval and the allowance for that extra time. But in the end, I think it worked quite well. If the Corona crisis would have happened right at the start, I think it would have been very difficult. I think it helped us to get together initially, to have the forming and the storming. And then I think we had the capacity to work more remotely with the teams.
And then working together with the teams, did you challenge them? Did they also challenge you in terms of why didn't you do that? Why didn't you raise that question? Or how was the collaboration with the teams? Was it really also enriching for you in terms of new insights, the way they're working, or how can we imagine that? Eike, maybe you.
Okay.
For you.
Yes, of course. At the first time, it was a struggle to find the spaces and to organize remotely, but after a while, it worked out very, very well. And what astonished me was how well we worked together, even within our company. Normally, it's kind of a struggle to get someone who answers questions. And you know, if we have 5,000 people all over Germany, and it's hard to reach each other. But after a while, it worked out very good. And I just asked around whether my colleagues are still in contact with the teams, and they still are. So it's good.
Cool. And so maybe as we're coming to the teams or team around here on stage, is there anybody listening to us remote at home who has some questions, remarks? I'm looking into Janus' directions. Do we see any raised hands? Michael. So Michael from Deutsche Bank. So I think that's.
Can you hear me? You hear me? Okay.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's now up to us corporates, I would say, how we will support those teams and those ideas. We just said from Deutsche Bank side, because it's our initiative, Banking Be Green. Of course, there were a lot of approaches and a lot of ideas, creativity, and even business cases that we have to now deepen within our organization. We have already found a couple of contact points. We have like a day one initiative from the corporate side. We have our Beyond Banking initiative on the private banking side. So we will find solutions to incorporate as much as possible out of those ideas. Oh, I can't hear you.
Teams, like in general, they are at the point that they have the idea, their first validated business model, prototypes. We've seen visuals, mock-ups. So how to proceed and also how to convince corporate partners like you, but also others to join the project. Thomas.
Well, my idea is, when I was thinking about the first cycle, which was about plastic reduction, the universe of potential partners was somewhat reduced, right? What has been developed here could go much further. It could Drive and Save could be any corporate that has a car fleet, for example. So the question now is, how do we leverage our corporate banking network in bringing the ideas to our corporate clients? So it's not just us, but it's the multiplication then we can have as a bank. So we will have to organize this, and I think it will be interesting to put together a roadshow or a pitch book where the ideas are visualized.
That's a great idea. For all the ideas like that, you open your network for all the teams. And we've seen some pitching also, how you approach your network, like personal network, then future, but also beyond with the corporate partners.
Yeah. So we could do a pitch book, we could do a roadshow, we will have to leverage our corporate partners. So it's way beyond retail banking, and we should give it a shot. It will be interesting. And I think it's just an offer. Nobody has to take up anything, right? But it's just a proposal, and corporates can consider whether and how they wish to participate.
All right, thank you. So now I think we are switching over to the teams to have them on stage to talk a little bit about the last 3 months and reflecting a bit. But first of all, from my perspective, let me thank you first of all and foremost the Deutsche Bank, who's not only partner and initiator of the mission, but also then the main sponsor of that project Banking Be Green. Without you, I think it was a starting point when we started the discussion really to set that topic, to set the mission and also the project Banking Be Green. But then also to Zurich Versicherung, to Kaufland, to Daimler, to Medallia, to DWS, who joined us within that project. I mean, it's for us super essential. It's vital because without you, and it's not just about financing the whole program. It's having these the expertise, also the data. It wouldn't be possible. It's a great value for the teams, for us also. And so thank you. And I think this applause is also for the corporate partners. Without you, that all of this wouldn't be possible. Thank you. Okay. Thank you on stage. And now I'd ask Naima, Nadine, and Marcus on stage here to talk a little bit. So then we get 3 microphones, I think, and then we are switching a little bit, but that should work. First of all, and the questions directed to each of you 3, reflecting on the past 3 months, what was your best, or in terms of most joyful, and of course your most stressful moment when you're looking back? So maybe Nadine, you want to start?
Yes, of course, I can start. I think overall, I think the first 2 weeks were the most stressful in a sense, but also the most beautiful, let's say, weeks, because we had these great onboarding weeks, great workshops, meeting all the people, getting to know to each other. But then the high pressure on the kickoff event and delivering. And I think this was the most exciting and for me, the most pressure that I have felt personally, and I think also in our team.
And now it feels like a bit more like relief after the pitch, or?
Yes, relief, but I also have to say that since we work remotely, the pressure has a little bit laid off because there's not that many meetings going on. You can work from home, you are more focused, and you can better manage your time, at least for myself. And yeah, of course, now for today, it was a little bit more pressure, but we had enough time to prepare. And I think we had great support from you all, from the corporates and Bain. So yeah. That's my impression.
Naima. Working? Yeah.
So I think from our side, the highs, I think there were a lot of really... Now? Is it on now? Okay, perfect. So I think there was not one single moment where I say this is the best moment of the whole project. I think it were the many small successes and many small insights. So both from testing with users, realizing what kind of elements they like of our idea, but also learning so much by placing it in front of users and realizing these are the things that we can improve. Then also all our mentoring sessions, for example, with Anna and Johanna, because there we already always got so many insights that we could incorporate in continuing our process, and I think also many calls with corporates where they connected us with experts in the corporate, for example, expert on CSR topics, and that always accelerated kind of the learning curve a lot and the process. So I think there were many of those moments, and then of course the moments after the presentations when you delivered it and it feels just good to have accomplished. And the most stressful, I think, was the previous week. Think for all of us, because we were working in parallel, kind of in finishing the prototype as fast as possible, the designs, and then also the pitch and the project documentation, which is still ongoing. So yeah, there were many things at once where we realized, oh, there's still a lot to do. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Can you just? So Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, our challenges and high moments are to a certain degree, of course, similar to the ones described. I also have to highlight the deep dives, the weekly deep dives. They were on a content base, really amazing. Always gave us a lot of insight, as well as the feedback from the interim pitch. Actually, that was really helpful on the way. And when it comes to the most stressful time, I think it was actually the days leading up to today. I think, and each of the pitches, like it intensified a little bit, but especially the last few days, or also some short nights included there. But today, I really think it was all worth it, and it was really great. And this was also the best moment, I think, because for yourself, you saw it all come together, I think.
Yeah, you said things are coming together today. When you're looking back, so it's always when we from Future look back on a project. For us, it's not just 3 months. We're starting like 6 months, and then we going to all that recruiting fairs, do online recruiting, all the channels. I still remember playing tisch tennis, table tennis with Marcus in Koblenz, and so that's how we meet. Looking back, when we meet all the talents, and now the questions to you: what was in terms of learning or personal development for you, what were like the main points you take out of these 3 months, but maybe also before, when you're looking back how you applied for the project? What was your expectations and how did you develop? Can you talk about that a little bit? Maybe in the same order like before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, because I'm originating from academia and I still have a job there, so I might also return now again back to academia. So for me, that was more like an experiment to also get a foot again into the corporate private sector and to see how this world works and if I can also see myself there.
And so, do you like it?
Yeah. I'm still ambivalent. I'm still an academic in my heart. But I do like just the possibility that we got here, you know, to develop an idea and the passion that you have and you want to change something. Because we as academics, we are always talking about this needs to change and these are the implications of our work. And now I actually got the privilege to work on something that I suggest to change. Yep. And so this is what I really highly appreciate. And this was a great opportunity for me and for my own work and my research. And I would love to continue working on the project besides my academic work. And yeah, so for me personally, I learned a lot also in terms of the design thinking workshops, actually bringing something to life and creating a prototype. The pitches is also a different style of presenting than doing your academic presentations, of course. And yeah, this was great. Also working in a team, I have to say, because as a researcher, you're also usually alone, or mostly you work individually or in a research team, but still. And this was, for me, a bit of a challenge also to work in a team, but I really liked the touch points that we have, and you really get to love these points of exchanging ideas and getting feedback. So this was a good experience for me.
All right, thank you.
Yes, when it comes to me, so from my background, I was only doing internships, so also working only in startups, but of course not like as a co-founder or something like that. So for me, the realization was that it's really so much different when you carry the responsibility and you have to make the decisions how to move forward or what is the most urgent thing to do, both in terms of MVP, like for the product, what should we do now, but also in terms of the business. And the business modeling, and this was something I think where I learned a lot and where also I can improve a lot still. And what I enjoyed as well, like I learned in theory about how are this kind of open innovation projects working. And I think the added value is that you on one hand work in the teams on your own idea, but then you have all the touch points with the corporates and with mentors. So that's something you normally would never have as a startup. So I think for us it was really, really helpful because we got access and doors opened to so many people that could help us accelerate the process. But at the same time, of course, this was a big learning because you have to, on the one hand, proceed in this kind of startup agile way, on the other hand, be professional as well. So, which is not saying that this excludes itself, but of course, it's like having for example, the calls and the deadlines to yes. So like just this combination.
Would you say theory holds? You said you know it from theory from university. Would theory hold about all that innovation, co-innovating, co-creation, or how did you experience that within the 3 months?
Yes, I guess the theory teaches you also that it's never predictable and it's always changing. So in this sense, it was aligned. But of course, you cannot learn the process at uni. You have to go through it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So Marcus, do you regret coming to our recruiting fair to the table tennis match?
No, not at all. It was
That's good.
it was a really unique experience for me. I think for all of us. It was unique in a way that you're constantly in the driver's seat. Like you have to react and act all the time. Like you get amazing feedback from professionals. Like I mentioned the deep dives with Bain, the feedback that you got along the way, but you are then the one who has to implement it. And there's nobody doing it for you. And I think this is really like there's no project lead above. I mean, there is one, but you are supposed to, like you are doing your own project, and I think this is super awesome while you still have this ecosystem around you. And coming to the fairs, I mean, for me it was perfect because I first heard about you at the app symposium. I was there as well at the workshop, and this was more the content side. And then actually at the Euromasters,
it was a fun side.
It was, but this is what the emotional side to Future. I get to know you and Timon especially, and this was really what sold it also from an emotional level to me. And I was not disappointed coming here at all.
That's good to hear. And coming back, you all mentioned you're working very close together with Bain & Company. They are challenging you like on a daily basis. And then you're not just working with one corporate partner. There's not just the Deutsche Bank. There are many corporate partners. How was your experience like working together with that? Also in terms of stakeholder management, if you could call it that way, how was it?
Just with me again. I think, it was, there were times which were really challenging, I would say, especially when you deal with corporate partners that come from different universe or like areas like education, banking sector. And then us also as a team coming from very different cultural and topical backgrounds. So I think that was a challenge, but I think we did very well, and just being empathetic and sticking to our core values as far as possible.
Was it very different from you said you're conducting a lot of research projects in university, also I get with corporate partners?
No, depends. Like the research depends. Usually you do a survey among people, which is sent out online, or you do interviews with people. And I mostly do interviews with journalists, so that's a different stakeholder group. But I think, it taught us also how to deal with different people from different corporate sectors, from different fields. And you have to also deal with their attitudes and what their needs are and how that also fits with our ideas. I have to also manage the expectations to some extent. So it was a good experience.
All right, thank you.
So I think there I have to say thank you to my team, and especially to Niklas, because he was handling most of the communication to the corporate partners. And I think it was really good, which was also told at the beginning from Future, assigned someone who is handling most of the communications. Of course, when it got specific technical or into design, then I was also involved, or Kwang was involved. But this was really helpful that someone can focus on this. And then when it comes to support, there again, I have to say I was really surprised, because often you are thinking startups are moving fast, corporates are moving slow, but we always get responses super fast and proactive support, like both from Heike from Deutsche Bank. Like she always even sends us articles she reads and that we can look into, like, so very proactively, and setting up all these contacts to people in the corporate, and also Kaufland. So Markus and Sophie, just also one example, we had set up a questionnaire, and Markus looked over it within 2-3 hours. He sent back his feedback, and so I think there we were also lucky in that sense, and it worked quite well this way.
And for us as well, it was a very good experience. We experienced a lot of support from the partners. Although in our team specifically, there was a little bit of an impediment with the Corona situation, because our corporate partner, of course, Daimler, was very much hit by the Corona crisis and also the shutdown. But even through that, they communicated very well with us and informed us about what is possible, what is not possible at the given moment. And we try to we communicate with all the partners, and we took their feedback very serious, and then we're able to build on that. I think it was a great experience.
And so the last question, maybe with a short answer. So now we're looking back on the last 3 months, looking forward into the next 3 months. Where are you personally and you as a team in 3 months?
Yeah, for me personally, I will still be working in my fellowship in Oxford, mainly as my main job at the moment. But I also hope to be part-time involved with this project and really working on this further. And because we're still having the contact with our partnerships that we have set up, so we have to deliver now. I have to tell them, okay, this platform is still on and we're going to bring that to life. And I still want to be part of this and want to move that forward. And we as a team, I think, yeah, we will see how it's going to turn out. For the moment, everybody is still engaged. Everybody is enthusiastic about the idea and want to push it forward. But they all also have their commitments in terms of finishing their master thesis, bachelor studies. So yeah, we will see.
Yes, so for us, if you remember our roadmap, we hope to have the MVP developed or continuing on that. And I honestly have the feeling it's only now starting. Like it feels like this is not the end, but it's just to start. So
cool.
So there's
but
a lot.
Then we still need the number of funding. Like, for how much money are you looking?
Yes, I will not tell this now.
That's okay.
But of course, I think it's also the same. Like Nadine said, we are still in our masters. But 3 of us are in the master studies. So for me, I also have to finish my master thesis. But I connected to this topic, so hopefully this will relatively smooth go. And yeah, then let's see how it continues, and we hope that we can develop this because we already have some. So now it would also be sad to not continue.
Yeah. So Marcus, when can I start driving sustainably?
I mean, you should start driving sustainably back home today.
Because I know that.
Assuming that you haven't done so far. But I mean, when we start motivating you to drive more sustainably, I hope also today after our presentation, but with the app Drive and Safe, hopefully soon. I mean, we're looking for partners very intensively after this, and since we also have commitments in terms of academic theses, and I have a job offer, but it's a little bit down the road, so I definitely have months to drive this forward, and we want to do it as concretely as possible, find a partner, and give me a good reason to continue this project.
So you again have to make the decision, adventure versus job, right?
At some point, yeah. I mean, I guess at least to an extent. I mean, there's always solutions that can be found where you do it simultaneously, at least for a period of time. It's my position is a traineeship at the ECB that I would start in July. So it's also limited in time. So potentially it could be pushed back, or it could be simultaneously. I mean, we still have a group, and I can add maybe part time. But we're looking into all of this, and we have 2 months. Complete commitment, and then
that's great. All right, thank you so far, not just for coming on the stage, but also I said it about the corporate partners, but I think the whole idea, the whole project, the mission, and all the future projects, what we're doing together, it's all based, circled, settled around you, around not just you on stage, all of you, the teams, the talents who apply here and decide for an adventure at least for 3 months, maybe making a job out of it, but we don't know beforehand. And so for the trust, for joining the program, for all your commitment, your effort, working, and especially during Corona times, I know this is like super hard and difficult, but you stick to the project within your teams, and with a lot of discipline, you came here to that day and presented your ideas. And so all the best for the future, and I hope to see if we talk maybe in 3 or 6 months, see all of you working on an idea again. But thanks for committing to that project, for coming here, developing an idea, and putting that much effort in it, because without you, that wouldn't definitely not been possible. That was just be a nice talking round here, and not with prototypes and final presentations. So thank you from our side.
Thank you.
I mean, we can only return that thank you, of course. None of this would have been possible without Futuri and all the corporate partners. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so we're wrapping up. Can someone help me in getting those down again? That would be great. That's Janne's favorite music, which is good. Okay. Yeah, can I start? Cool. All right. Thank you. Okay, guys. So especially those online, thank you very much for staying on such a long time. As promised, we'll finish off at 3 o'clock. So this will be the last agenda point for today, because you might be interested also what's coming next. After the mission is before the next mission, but also there are some nice activities coming up in the next month. So when you look at this, the teams mentioned already, there's still some homework to do, which is the project documentation. So we are kind of closing off by end of the week, and then there will be some follow-ups and feedbacks and stuff. But this is what's going to happen. All of you, corporates, but also teams and everything, we are going to launch a newsletter. So our alumni newsletter will come up. So we're just starting and planning to have several of those during the year. We are also, I mean, as you know, normally we would have been at Deutsche Bank today and would have a celebration and different activities. So we're looking into this depending on how times will work out. But Deutsche Bank was so kind and offered us and said they're happy maybe to have another event, like a celebration event, and maybe we can combine it with another event of the Handelsblatt in summertime. So we're looking into this, if this is an option. So July, I don't know, August, we'll definitely look into this. And then great news, that's a little bit of promotion now already for our next round. So we have our third mission coming up. I was quickly talking with Dorothea. She got excited already because our next mission will be around sports. So that will be a completely different topic, and it will be sports be sustainable. And we are starting off with our core partner, which is Bayern München, FC Bayern München. And it will be kicked off in summer. So, and also like for all the teams, but I think we promoted already. If you have any other great friends, colleagues, whatever, who are interested in joining, we still have our application running and going until end of May. So this is kicking off, and then you can see another mission we're currently looking in. This will be then the fourth one, and it will be about work be next. So we are looking into this one by autumn time then. And then last but not least, this is important, we are planning a big kind of reunion mission event, 2nd of November here in Frankfurt, also together with Deutsche Bank and DWS. So there will be a big event coming up in the finalization. So there's, as you see, there's some of activities and other events happening. And of course, you will be informed of everything that is also happening with the teams or any updates. So you're part of our alumni group now. Okay, also quite important, here it is. You have seen maybe next to you, there is like the Handelsblatt, and there had been an advertisement article today in the Handelsblatt on page 13 about this mission, which also gives a little bit of an idea of the teams and why we're doing this. There's also an interview, a short one. So have a look. If you haven't bought the Handelsblatt today, then you should still buy it. There's the article in there. And for those being here, just grab one. And, okay. Last but not least, on the Handelsblatt, you know that we're working closely together with the Handelsblatt, and Handelsblatt is part of also the mission initiators. And what we did in the first round is we, or the Handelsblatt, we launched, it is just like out of the press, okay, we just launched the Ways Be Circular, or the Handelsblatt launched the Ways Be Circular kind of booklet or kind of analysis. And this is really something to look into. And this is something that we're also going to have after mission 2, so Banking Be Green. And you started already like having first discussions with the Handelsblatt. And this is what I would like to share with you. So the next 2-3 months, the Handelsblatt together with the key corporates is working on developing this this trend radar, as it's called, which should be then launched by June, July. So just for your information, this is still ongoing work. Of course, it's not finished yet, but yeah. You want to say something, Holger? Yeah. Okay, hang on. maybe you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Why I will say something to you, because honestly, I founded my first company in 1996, and I made a lot of failures. And I failed very often, but in some or 2 or 3 companies, I was very successful. But I never ever had in my life this opportunity to be in the Handelsblatt. Never ever. Honestly, that's just to know it for you. And I will honestly, this is a role model for you. You are the successors of this role model, yeah. And here you are in. Yes, right now you are the role models for your successors for the next mission. The next mission is Bain, is a sports mission. Honestly, you had made a great job. And when I founded the Value Foundation, so when I founded the Wertestiftung, I never ever had the idea that it is possible to do something like that with Futury. What Vanessa, Charlie, and the whole team are doing with you, it's unbelievable. Of course, it's important always with the corporate partners. But I will give you a clue. Also, on site, we founded a fund. It's a Futury fund. And when Tim raised, yes, I would like to, that the Deutsche Bank will invest in some of you. We let you know the fund phoned me and said, yes, we are also interested to invest in you. So this opportunity is unbelievable. Use it, but be honest, always stay humble, always stay human, and that's important for you. Yeah, humble and human, and you will be successful. Thank you very much for this great challenge, what you have done. Keep the fingers crossed for you, and looking forward to speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so this is just some sort of information for the corporates and for those who have been involved. We are going to have, of course, some feedback. So we're going to have qualitative feedbacks with you because we want to understand what we can do better and improve in the program. We're also going to have an online survey coming up, but this will come in the next day. So watch out for our feedbacks and survey. And before I come to the final round, I just wanted to say before we end of the stream, there will be the breakout sessions, but I guess everybody either here in the room or also still online is aware and knows what to do. So we're starting at 3:30 with our breakout session in individual rooms, and that would be fantastic if everybody joins, because this is then the time to kind of talk about next steps, concrete next steps, and what can happen afterwards. Okay, last slide. And of course, we had already like plenty of thank yous in between. And I'll try to keep it short because Charlie, I think, has done a great job already of thanking all the corporates being involved in that program, which of course I'll do too. I just want to point out it was a real pleasure, especially I have to point out with the Deutsche Bank team. I think this has to do also because Deutsche Bank is locally here in Frankfurt, and we spent quite some time together before Corona, but also during Corona. But I really enjoyed because there was a big group of Deutsche Bank colleagues that supported. I really enjoyed. I have to say I got a different perspective of the Deutsche Bank now after working with you together so closely. So it was really, really cool. Thank you very much for that great working relationship. And of course also to DWS and Zurich and Frankfurt School, Medalia, Daimler and Kaufland, exactly what I wanted to share. So this is the first group, the corporates. The second group for me is the teams, and also Charlie was mentioning this. I mean, all this wouldn't be anything without the teams. I have to say, I was super happy being back here the last days, also to connect back in with the teams and the people. I've learned a lot about you, and I've learned a lot about the teams and team engagement. So I also can only say thank you very much for that amazing work. I want to point out two other groups, and group number one is Bain and Company. I mentioned it already, but especially to Johanna and Anna, who had been with us in the last months and weeks. I think you have done a terrific job, and not only during, but also like I still remember that amazing agile working workshop with you at Bain. I learned tons. I had lots of fun, and honestly, I think this outcome wouldn't be like that much and that good without your constant support and weekly support. So I think that Bain component, let's put it this way, is a key component in our overall program. And I think because now me, myself, coming also from consulting, I know what that means and I know what kind of efforts behind. So I value a lot and I just wanted to thank you very much. This also, of course, goes to Walter, who's supporting the overall initiative, but important to say. Second group I wanted to mention is Handelsblatt. Of course, they are also part of the initiators, but also to Jan and the team on a close working relationship. And also today, and I know there had been some hiccups, but we tried to make the best out of it. All the support from both from Marcus and Sebastian, who are supporting us here today with that live stream and the activities. So also big thank you that we could make that happen. And two more groups to mention. Third group is everybody else that was supporting us during the 3 months, which is, for example, Nelson with the team building, Joseph's with research, Founders Intelligence, who kind of supported us and what we can do after the mission. And also, I mean, you're sitting all here or seeing at the Tech Quartier. There was some great get-together working relationship with the Tech Quartier, so we had lots of opportunities in how we can run this. So big thank you also to this group. And lastly, and it shouldn't be like really the last, maybe it should be the first, I want to thank the Futury team, like everyone from the Futury team, because this is always a combined effort. But in specific, I want to thank Janus, who was the project manager on the ground. Without Janus, not possible, because this is always a combined effort. There's lots to organize, to set up, to arrange, to sort out, to solve any problems and issues. And I think this was amazing teamwork. So for me, my biggest thank you for today, I think, goes to Janus and for that amazing time. I really did enjoy. So thank you very much. Okay, I was on mute. So anyhow, this was also my last statement. So thank you. I think we're broadly in time with 3 o'clock. So we're ending our live stream here. Thank you for being there and hope to see you soon in the next mission. Bye-bye.